Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hope you are well. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but hey, sometimes you miss stuff. When that happens, catch up at your leisure. Hello, you can do it. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. I say catch up. It's on the website, ESPN Tallahassee. We'll archive it for you. You're good there. It's also on iTunes. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. Also at 979 ESPN Radio, where if you're periscoping this, hello. Thanks for periscoping. Periscoping working? Is that something that people are still doing?
Yeah.
We're not catering to a soon-to-be defunct technology?
No, I mean, Twitter is still right now very present in our lives, which I think we all hate. But, people are using it for the good, which is to watch us.
Watch us. Or on YouTube. That's not going anywhere. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. You can watch it that way, too. I just read where Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network, and by the way, he does good work, so I tend to trust this, and I was listening to the reports there with the Sports Center of the draft, wrote earlier in the month that, quote, unquote, people familiar with the Browns are thinking that they will select Josh Allen with the first overall pick. Well, of course they will.
There is a camp that of a lot of different NFL experts across, organizations who believe that Josh Allen is the pick, has always been the pick, and then there are some that believe that Sam Darnold will be their pick.
Yeah, I think more think that's Sam Darnold, right? And isn't it funny that to me it's Josh Rosen? To me, if we're going to talk quarterbacks to start the day, Josh Rosen's the guy I most believe has the best chance to be a good quarterback long term.
If you were to rank the three, you would rank them Rosen, Allen, Darnold, or Rosen, Darnold,
I haven't seen enough Allen. I haven't seen enough Allen. I don't feel comfortable ranking Allen. I just haven't hardly seen him play. I like Wyoming.
Yeah.
And so I have probably seen more of Wyoming than a lot of people in this city because I tend to find myself kind of gravitating, all things being equal. A bunch of games on I don't care about. Well, Wyoming's on. I'll put him on. I like him. But I haven't seen enough of him to tell you, and not against elite defenses, to say I love his arm strength. I don't like his inaccuracies. There are things there that bother me. He's physically probably the most talented in terms of the ability to take a whooping.
Yeah.
He's a big, strong dude, and I know he's going to be durable. Rosen's the most talented of the bunch, though. Rosen's not – it's not even really that close, in my opinion.
So the funny answer would be I have seen enough of Darnold to say he's third in that list.
Oh, well, we have, haven't we? People – fawn over that guy. What is that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know what it is
I'm
either.
Not sure.
Whenever I get chances to ask people whose job it is to solely look at that stuff or to talk about that stuff, that's what they do for a living. And I get more of these chances now than ever before, which is really cool and fun for me, but also informative for the show. And don't I do this, Tom? I come running back to you because we're both draft fanboys. And I go, man, you're not going to believe this. I worked with so-and-so this weekend, or I talked to such-and-such this weekend, and they're saying that this guy is a bust and this guy's great. I just love learning that stuff, what insiders, quote-unquote, or at least people with access to these organizations and their player personnel scouts. Like, what are these guys saying? And a lot of people like Sam Darnold, and I just have never seen it. I'll give you this makes more sense to me in terms of the so-called hot take, right? Or something that's over the top for the purposes of getting clicks or selling whatever it is, right? Subscriptions. Pro Football Focus did their study of all of the quarterbacks that could get selected in the first round. So 5 different guys they looked at. The back end of that being Lamar Jackson. There's a line of thought that maybe he sneaks into the end of the first round. I wouldn't draft him. Of the first 15 quarterbacks, he wouldn't be one of them. But the other people think highly of him. I'm not one of them. Anyhow, that said, Pro Football Focus says that when they did what they called their advanced metrics on every throw that any of these kids made at any point in their college career, and the ones that translate to the NFL, so tight window throws and all that it's not even close, that Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback in this draft, and that the others, the next guy is a distant second, and there are still others that are being thought of above him that are way down the list in those metrics. And I was stunned to hear that. But that sounds like something Pro Football Focus would say and do, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy that reps Pro Football Focus and comes on to do interviews is really good. I'm thinking about having him on just so we can argue because he's really good at it. And he has done his research with their methodologies, if you agree with it or not. But he's got Baker Mayfield way up there. And maybe the way he feels about Baker Mayfield, Maker Bayfield, that would have been funny.
Well, that's who he is if he's a bust.
But the way he feels about him is kind of the way I feel about Josh Rosen. My only question about Josh Rosen.
Yeah, but you wouldn't hitch your wagon to any of these guys.
No, I don't think it's a good draft for quarterbacks at all. In fact, I would be more willing to bet none of them are any good. But I would say that if one of them is going to be 5 years from now, a starter in the league, consistently solid, above middling, it's Josh Rosen.
I agree. I think it is a decent year for quarterbacks because of Josh Rosen.
Well, yeah.
because you have one guy leading the class. Baker has a chance, but the question marks are obvious. They're obvious. Not everybody can be Russell Wilson. Not everybody can be Drew Brees. And just because you're short and you have a lot of game to you doesn't mean that you're going to be one of those two players.
No, there are plenty of short quarterbacks who put up prolific numbers in college and for their university are all-time greats that didn't translate at all in the NFL. Sure, and there's a reason for that. And that's why you use those the intangibles as well as the tangibles as a guide, only a guide. There are no guarantees. A lot of these guys get it wrong. But if you have a mountain of evidence that being under 6'1" is a hindrance to being a star NFL quarterback and two outliers that say it isn't, you look at the preponderance of evidence.
Yeah, the hard part I have, too, in evaluating Baker is I don't know how people rally around him.
Oh, they love him. They love him.
When he's a rook? When he's a rook?
I'm telling you, that's one thing that, now I don't know because I've not been around him, but apparently that is universally agreed upon that the locker room will love Baker Mayfield. Of all these guys, that guy's the one they're going to love. The players will love him. Every player that was talked to by any of these scouts or any of these people trying to assess what Baker Mayfield is, going back to Texas Tech before he transferred to Oklahoma, all the people at Oklahoma, all of it, his high school, all of them say, oh, they'd run through a wall for him. They love him. They love him because he's got that thing. I could see that.
Yeah, but if you're an average NFL quarterback making your bones and you still have that attitude, how are people going to respond to that? When you're that guy, when you're the dude?
Yeah, but I suspect he won't have that attitude if he's average. I think that a lot of that attitude is born out of the confidence that comes from succeeding everywhere you've ever been and being told you can't play.
He just screams Justin Thomas to me from a demeanor standpoint, which plays differently in an NFL locker room. If he's Justin Thomas, the football player with the skill that the golfer has, I don't know, man. It's different. Well, you watched a little bit more Oklahoma than me.
Baker's a thick, strong guy, and he's not soft, and he does love his teammates. I think Justin's just a weak little ass who happens to be really good at golf, and nobody would really want to be around. That's just very, very okay. That's just me. Now, arrogant and cocky, that part of it, okay, I'll agree with you. But I also suspect that every quarterback we're talking about in this draft is exactly that. Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Josh Rosen, certainly all of those guys are probably that, probably arrogant and cocky.
Where I think Rosen at least, and I thought this before the interview, but the interview that he did, the Q&A, which we talked about
made me like him even more.
It solidified. He just seems to me like a curious person. I think that's different than I'm never wrong guy. And I wonder if Baker is somebody who is never wrong.
I don't know. It would be fun to be part of that interview process because that I don't know. And I know this. If you can't play, it doesn't matter what you're bringing to the table. If you can't play, you can't play. I mean, I'm fairly certain Johnny Manziel was cocky and then couldn't play and had so many other issues.
Boy, and is Darnold the first one since Manziel where we're kind of looking around?
But at least Darnold fits the bill physically. I mean, Johnny Manziel, I just kept saying, where in the hell are...
You're Vincent Vega, Pulp Fiction.
I did. I was like, what in the world
Where
do
am
people
I?
see out of this guy? I mean, he seemed like a very good, perfectly suited for the system college quarterback, and that was it. He didn't have anything else you'd want to bring to the table to play the quarterback position in the NFL. Nothing. Nothing else. Not a great arm, not terribly intelligent, not a great athlete. There was nothing about him that you'd say, yeah.
He was oddly elusive for his low speed. That was his skill. He was elusive for being slow.
Well, and slow's relative because I don't think he's slow compared to the average human being. He's slow compared to the average NFL linebacker and defensive end.
He needed to run a 4.42 or something like that in order for people to take a chance on him. He didn't touch 4.5 flat.
No, and yet Cleveland took a chance on him. Boy, you can tell we're getting close to the draft, huh? You made one mention of one thing, and I just sabotaged the opening segment and going all NFL, which is fine because we're at that stage now where reality has struck, man. The remaining stories, surrounding FSU for the time being will be Florida State baseball, which gets underway in about 45 minutes after a win yesterday. Martin's march towards the record, and recruiting.
And our guys in the draft.
There we go. Derwin James, where does he go? How high? Could be top 10 pick. Wouldn't surprise any of us if he was. I know he interviewed exceptionally well. I know that obviously he's as talented as you'll ever see for a guy that size at the position. I think if he goes to the right team, he's a superstar player. This is a subject I want to get into later in the show because, I haven't backed off my stance while we're talking about the draft about the Bucs needing to take Quentin Nelson, but if they took Derwin James, I wouldn't be devastated. Now, if it's down to Derwin James, Quentin Nelson, Saquon Barkley, Mika Fitzpatrick, if all of those guys are on the board, would I want Derwin in that situation? No.
If he goes up to the league and balls, you think people are mad at the coaching staff that's gone already? It would add another chapter to that book.
I think he is going to go to the league and ball because I think they'll utilize the many skill sets that he has, especially bringing him down into the box to make tackles against the run. I think he's multifaceted, loves the game. More and more, I think that's a big deal. I just, when I watch guys, I want to know if I'm going to invest all of this money, much of it now guaranteed compared to yesteryear, I got to know you care deeply about playing football because football's hard as hell. You get humbled. You get injured, you get beat up, and you got to be willing to fight through that, come back from that, and continue to get back to what you once were prior to that. And the only way that happens is if you have a passion to play the game. And if you don't have that, man, so Derwin has that is my point. He has a passion for the game, and he's physically gifted and wasn't always properly utilized here. Some of his numbers tell you that he was very productive here, especially that freshman season. But even the second half of last year, he was a much better player than maybe we realized just because the team was so bad we tend to ignore. But that defense, the numbers that were produced, a lot of that was him last year, in particular in the second half. But that was, by and large, we look at, again, I don't want to continue to drag up the past, but that's part of our frustration on the defensive side. So often we're talking about Jimbo on the offensive side, but there were a lot of frustrating elements to what we did defensively, which was to not attack. And, Harlan Barnett has already, just from the things that he has said and from what we can watch, hearkening back to the way we used to play. I mean, you're seeing a lot more of the attacking style, far less complicated, one gap type stuff, one read type stuff, and let's go. Put pressure, get into the backfield. Let's cause chaos, wreak havoc, take some chances in order to do so. In a lot of ways, what Florida State's about to embark on is an amazing risk-reward type scheme on both sides of the football.
Right. Well, it plays well into the hands of the offense when you're operating at peak because then you can affect the game and change the scoreboard on both sides of the ball. Short fields for the offense, and you get that multiplier effect. If you're going to sit back and let teams dink and dunk you and then bend but don't break, that doesn't you're trying to increase possessions on one side of the ball. Complementary football, right? So Jimbo was really good for much of his career at managing his offense based upon what his defense was capable of. If the defense was terrible, all right, I got to find a way to score 30 to 40 points here. and he would scheme as such. If the defense was incredible and the offense was average, see the Florida game where our MVP was our punter. All right, listen,
I'll run it into the line 3 times, punt the ball because you can't score.
If I'm up 2 scores, the game's over, as long as I don't screw this up. So he understood that. Well, the complementary football, if you're going to go breakneck speed on offense at all times, is to, all right.
Create turnovers, put pressure, try to get you.
Yes, yeah. Better yet, to have our defense with as much rest as possible later than have to suffer through 12 and 15 play drives and then we go on a quick 3 and out. I mean, you better be after it.
Well, and also when you recruit the level of athlete that Florida State is bringing in on that side of the ball, well, really, period, but especially what's already in place right now is a lot of incredible athleticism. Some of it inexperience, but a lot of athleticism. You got to better utilize that. That's part of our frustration from a year ago was you got to better utilize these weapons. You got guys who produced some numbers last year, but we never turned the football over. I mean, we never sat back and went, oh, pick 6, how about that? Oh, look at that, a strip sack. Scoop and score. Look at this. No, it just didn't happen.
A sack without a strip, we'd say, wow.
Yeah, you were stunned, right? Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Serving the Tallahassee area since 1987, Capital Rubber specializes in hydraulic hose, fitting and adapters, supply industrial hoses and fittings, along with rubber and gasketing products for automotive farming and industrial needs. Capital Rubber sells fuel, air and water, steam, pressure wash, and discharge hose, just to name a few. Capital Rubber's friendly, knowledgeable staff offers more than 50 years of experience to assist you with all your needs. Call them today at 575-1811 or stop by today at 130 Progress Drive behind TCC.
Get ready for Mo Fun this summer with a new Bad Boy Mower and free SeaWorld or Busch Garden tickets. Let's go! Buy a Bad Boy Mower this spring and own the best-built, most powerful zero-turn mower on the planet. And you'll get free tickets to SeaWorld or Busch Gardens. Have Mo Fun all the way around this summer. Drive away with a Bad Boy Mower and take off to SeaWorld or Busch Gardens for the time of your life. Make your country Bad Boy country.
Over 150 new zero turns in stock. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view inventory and pricing. In Thomasville, Georgia.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
At Advance Auto Parts, we offer you the quality parts you want and knowledge you need to help get you back on the road. And we're always looking for ways to help you save. Right now, get CarQuest conventional motor oil for just $2.96 a quart. Talk about an amazing price. Plus, find great prices on CarQuest's full line of motor oil. Go to Advance or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores to take advantage of this great offer while it lasts. Advance Auto Parts, where oil is priced like it should be.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the most dynamic young players in the league are ready to get their chop on.
Hit hard to left and deep. Back to the wall. That ball is gone. Dansby Swanson.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Metro Deli, Tallahassee's perfect lunch spot, and by AmeriGas Propane, driving every day. Monthly play-by-play schedule available at ESPNTallahassee.com.
You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's been rocking at midnight. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Well, Balls Big Wednesday action. Just hit me.
It's been a quick week, hasn't it?
Yeah, Florida State baseball wins last night, hoping to win here in about 35 minutes. Perfect day at the ballpark. If you're not hosting a radio show or stuck in an office, please hop in your car and head on over to Dick Hauser. It'd be a good day to do it. That is a 4? Is that a 4?
That's a 4.
Okay.
It's a 4.
When I can't go, man, I don't pay attention to those things because I'm already getting screwed. As much as you can be getting screwed for being asked to do your J job, which is to host a sports talk radio show. So, no, I mean, I get it. It's I'm not getting screwed, but I would like to be at the ballpark, admittedly. It's beautiful.
What's it been like for you to not have some satellite shows last couple of days? Oh, wait, no, you did today.
Uh-huh. And there is there's this settling in moment that I have now where I realize, Tom, I'm just on demand. Just in demand, on demand, just
You're like,
a lot of
my favorite movie when I go to the Xfinity remote and I say,
I need to hear some Jeff today.
You're on demand.
Well, throw it around the Sirius XM dials and you'll find me doing this show or that show this weekend. For example, I'll be on Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon all across this country, ESPNU, Channel 84. I'll be hosting not the ACC today. That's what I was hosting last week. I'm hosting some sort of
the Pac-12.
A look around college sports
early this morning.
No, I think it's not a specific. It's college sports morning or something like that.
Okay,
I'll be hosting that. Yeah, I got it. Usually, I know the names of the shows I'm hosting. Certainly, by the time I host them,
well, that's good.
I have that in hand. But that's a fun show to do Saturday mornings because you get the roundup. You get to look at everything. Like the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about spring games. Last Saturday when I hosted, I was talking about the Florida State spring game, and we had guests on to talk about Clemson's spring game, and we had people on to talk about Louisville's spring game, and I learned of some players that will be kind of household names come the fall. Puma Pass, for example, the new quarterback there at Louisville.
It's Puma.
Jawan Pass is his name, but he goes by Puma Pass.
Mm-hmm.
You know why they're excited at Louisville, by the way, if you want a little overview there? They're excited because they changed defensive coordinators, even though it's Van Gorder, who's sucked everywhere he's been. But they did that, but then also they feel like they have 4 competent offensive linemen for the first time in like 8 years. Because they haven't been able to block anybody, which is why they've needed a Lamar Jackson just to survive. But it's also why, while having a Lamar Jackson, they still lost a bunch of games.
Well, then Lamar this year is going to be great for him.
No, Puma Pass, who doesn't have Lamar's legs, will have to be the benefactor of that.
It's not Lamar.
No.
So,
what's depressing, though, and I'll reiterate this from now until the start of fall, is that no matter who the guest is on those shows, no matter who the expert is that I talk to, no matter who it was that attended the Clemson spring game or anything else, they all say, resoundingly so, that, my God, that team is loaded. And they may have just gotten a lot better at quarterback. That the only controversy or area of grave concern, not even grave concern, what am I talking about? The only area of interest, great interest, is whether or not Kelly Bryant keeps his job, because there are more talented quarterbacks waiting in the wings who are showcasing some of those skills.
Right. So you have more talented quarterbacks, and you have a political issue either in the locker room, the fan base, or both.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
That's all you can hope for.
And if not, if everything's fine and they do take the younger talent, well, then it's Clemson and Alabama round 4 in the playoff at some point.
I think that's yes. By the way, which is not good for football necessarily, certainly not good for us. I think you're right. I'm going to tell you now, this far out, April the 18th, that, yeah, I'd be stunned if those two didn't make the college football playoff.
What about Georgia with Fields?
Right. And Fromm. And talent galore.
Yeah.
So give me a fourth team.
Well, that'll be the wild card that just gets dismissed of. Dispatched.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, it seems likely. Those are the 3 power teams that I think you could say you'd feel really good about. Ohio State has some questions at quarterback, clearly. And also, maybe a lack of depth on the defensive line for Florida State. We're not sure about the offensive line. Well, I wouldn't say that. It's not real good. That's an area you have to overcome. Plus, you have a new coaching staff. Washington having to replace some real talent there, but that's a real good team out of the Pac-12. But, USC out of the Pac-12, if you're going to use them, Sam Darnold's gone. You got to find a quarterback. They've got 2 options there. One is the more mobile, more athletic guy. The other is a better pocket passer. But they've got receivers for days, does Southern Cal. Anybody else? Well, okay, Oklahoma. Again, replacing Baker Mayfield, but they're a real good football team. I don't think Herman and Texas are ready yet. I think I've just about combed the field here, right?
Yeah, I just pulled up Georgia's schedule because if you think about it, obviously they're going to have to break in some new tailback talent too, which is easier to replace than a quarterback. There's no doubt. But
Georgia always does have it. They recruit that position really well.
They do, and they'll have young Cook. James Cook will be in the fold for maybe kind of a role to play this year.
Yeah.
Change of pace kind of player. But their schedule is it's doable. I mean, they're challenging games. They play at Death Valley, which is LSU's version of Death Valley, on October the 13th. They get their bye, they play Florida, whatever. Then they go on the road, play Kentucky, and then host Auburn. But outside of that, this schedule is super doable for the Gators.
Auburn's going to be good
for the Bulldogs.
Auburn will be good this year, but they've got a lot of injuries that kind of leave them right now in limbo. So we'll see. I say they'll be good. We don't know how healthy they're going to be.
But even then, if you split, the LSU-Auburn games, you go 1-1 in those 2. It's not a big deal. You're still going to win the East and go play in the SEC title game.
Georgia's going to beat LSU like a drum. That LSU program is spiraling.
There you go. So they're going to be in the title game again against Alabama for the SEC crown, and the loser might still go to the playoff because they don't have a Notre Dame on the schedule this year like they did last year.
Yeah. Well, so they'll represent the East.
Yep.
Alabama will represent the West to play the SEC championship game. Georgia will lose to Alabama, we think.
With
See,
Tua.
you kind of forgot
right?
about that, right? So because last year Georgia got to beat Auburn for the SEC championship.
Yeah, but if Georgia, let's say they got 1 loss.
But I don't think you can lose the SEC championship game and get in that. I don't think
you have to not play it.
Right.
And then you can get
right.
into the playoff.
Benefit of not being there saved Alabama.
It saved Ohio State the year prior to.
Right. So it's kind of ridiculous, but I think that does happen, right? I don't think you go into that game and lose it and then still play. Because we forget about that again. Auburn has to be slightly pissed that they beat both the combatants in the national championship game in the same season.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I know I asked it and then didn't bother to research it because I'm lazy. Has that ever happened before?
Again, with the bowl tie-ins being what they've been historically, I don't know that it's possible.
It's nuts. That would have.
They lost 3 other times by the end of the year.
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying that would really, really bother me. I mean, that would really frustrate me to no end.
It would frustrate me because
they also lost to Clemson in a close game, so they ended up playing 3 of the 4 teams in the damn playoff and beat 2 of them.
That's correct.
Well, goodness.
And it was just good enough to keep Gus around, who probably doesn't want to be there. So if I'm an alert Auburn fan, I go, great. So we're going to be stuck with this, dog and pony show with a guy who
Auburn's not falling off, man. They recruit well. They've got a good system. They'll be all right. I think Auburn's gotten better on defense, and so that matters greatly to what they're trying to do. The teams I think about to fall off into the SEC are LSU, without question. You just don't have a good head coach, and you're going to have struggle with that, and that was a dumb hire. And so that's not going to work. Florida is going to get better in the East. Georgia's the team to beat, clearly. We'll see if Tennessee can start to get stuff together there now that they've changed coaches. Again, I think Jeremy's a really knowledgeable coach. It's going to be hard to out-recruit Florida and Georgia when they're both right.
But he does have some runoff from what Butch Jones did on that front.
He's got some talent.
So he's got some good players immediately to at least win a landmark
East is about
game
to be
or two.
fun. You know, as a college football fan, and as much fun as it is for us as ACC fans, if you will, to make fun of the SEC East as lacking, that's about to change. The SEC East is going to be good because we think Dan Mullen will find a competent quarterback in Florida, so they'll improve automatically. And, you know, if you get things going in the right direction in Florida, you recruit well, you're going to be a good team. Georgia's really good. Kirby's got him going right. We know that. We'll see what Pruitt and Tennessee do. If they do anything at all, that'll be a fun division.
Yeah, I think Florida-Tennessee is going to be interesting for the right to be, second in the East for the next few years. And then the question is, when you get to about 2021, has anybody recruited well enough, either of those two programs, to challenge what Georgia's doing? Because the way Georgia's recruiting right now, they're set for the next couple of seasons. I mean, if they don't make it to the SEC title game at minimum each of the next 2 to 3 years, that's a disappointment. They're recruiting on another level. They're challenging what was Alabama, Ohio State, us. Now they're in that group, the top 2 or 3.
So, by the way, when we switch it back over to the ACC and have this conversation, you say that the ACC is in a good position right now because Florida State's about to be drastically improved. We know just from recruiting alone, they're going to be a lot better. So Florida State will be better. They're chasing. Everybody in this conference is chasing Clemson. Those are 2 great programs, a lot of fun to watch, and give the ACC 2 very high-profile programs, historically speaking, with cachet. On the other side, Miami's much improved, and now, obviously, you look at Virginia Tech, bringing in Fuente. That was a good hire. I have no doubt he and Foster will produce consistently good teams. And so Virginia Tech will be once again in the mix, in the greater conversation to win the Coastal on a regular basis. So if you have 4 legitimately good programs in your conference, you're good to go. You're all right. Now, here's hoping Miami can't sustain it. Here's hoping Miami still doesn't have a quarterback. Here's hoping that Miami, because they're lacking in facilities, and now they had a little run there in recruiting, but I think that goes away given what we think Willie's going to do in this state. Okay. Game on is what you're describing, though.
Yeah, it's a big game this year. I mean, it always is, but it's a big game.
The Florida State-Miami game?
Asserting yourself in living rooms, yes.
Well, if you want to look back, if you beat Miami on the road in year 1, and you come off basically a miracle that Miami had to have to win the game against a really down Florida State team, you can easily sit then in a living room in Miami and say, outside of one flukish win against a staff that had 1 foot out the door, Miami hasn't done anything to Florida State in 10 years. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Salads and wraps. There's something for everyone. Metro Deli offers online ordering for pickup or delivery and will cater your office breakfast or lunch too. Tallahassee's perfect lunch spot is Metro Deli. MetroDeliTally.com. That's MetroDeliTally.com.
Could you turn that down a little, please? Hello, my name is Jim Smith, and I'm the owner of Poor Paul's here in Tallahassee. First, I want to thank you all for stopping. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm here on the Capitol steps and why I don't have any clothes on.
Because you're a pervert.
Let me explain. This is being recorded for a Poor Paul's radio commercial, and I think if I record it totally nude, people will pay more attention to my message. Business is great at Poor Paul's, but I still have one small problem.
I'll say you do.
My problem is that in spite of having free Gumby's Pizza and $4.95 pitchers every Sunday and Monday night, free beer and free mixed drinks for our lovely ladies every Tuesday night, and other great money-saving specials every other night of the week, some of you are still going to other bars. Bars whose owners would never bare their souls, so to speak, as I am. So I'm simply asking for your business so Poor Paul's can grow.
I see something else that needs to grow.
This isn't working. Hand me that towel, please.
I have a hanky.
Tired of your normal two-piece kit? Makita and Cornerstone are back together with a better-than-ever offer. Purchase a Makita brushless premium hammer drill and impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool, plus a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a total of 3 batteries, a $150 value. Not to mention, buy any 3 Makita brushless tools and get a free starter kit, 1 tool bag, 2 5-amp-hour batteries, and 1 dual bay charger. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave or 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus. Eat, sleep, fish. Mike's Marine Supply and Skeeter Boats want to get you out on the open water. They're your local Skeeter dealer, custom rigged with the Yamaha outboards. Stocked with a full line of Skeeter boats from the Bass to the Saltwater Bay Series, Skeeter has been recognized for 18 consecutive years as the leader in customer satisfaction for fiberglass outboard boats. Check in at Mike's Marine Supply for the spring specials starting soon. Located at 1296 Coastal Highway, Panacea, Florida, call Mike's Marine at 984-5637. Online at mikesmarinetallahassee.com.
The United States Postal Service has been around since 1775, and since then, you can rely on the Postal Service to make sure what matters to you gets to your mailbox. You'd think you couldn't improve on that. But now, with informed delivery notifications, you'll know when those important packages and letters are coming to your mailbox, with an email every morning telling you what's on the way. It's the reliability of the United States Postal Service matched with the technology of today. It's time to get peace of mind. Sign up now for free at informeddelivery.com. Informed Delivery. If it's in the mail, it's in your email.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 3 games in the NBA playoffs tonight, including Game 2 for the Cavaliers and the Pacers in Cleveland. Indiana dominated Game 1, and Cavaliers coach Ty Lue says there could be a lineup change for tonight. We'll have the Pacers and Cavaliers starting at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Kentucky forward Wenyen Gabriel is now the 5th Kentucky player to declare for the NBA draft, but like P.J. Washington, he will not hire an agent right away, which gives him the option to return to Lexington. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Patriots quarterback Tom Brady hasn't fully committed yet to playing the 2018 season. Schefter says most people close to Brady believe he will play, but others think he should retire. As for the Patriots' strategy for next week's draft,
I think that they're wide open on the quarterback scenario going into next week's draft. We don't know how it's going to play out yet, but I would be very surprised if the New England Patriots didn't come away with a quarterback in the first 2 rounds of this draft. Maybe it's in round 1 where they have double ones. Maybe it's in round 2 where they have double 2s. Maybe it is moving up in the draft. It all depends on how the board falls.
Adam Schefter on Get Up. Titans GM John Robinson tells Nashville Radio the Midday 180 that the team plans to pick up the 5th-year option for 2019 on quarterback Marcus Mariota. The deadline to do so is May 3rd. The Yankees are off today, but when they open a 4-game series against the Blue Jays tomorrow night, manager Aaron Boone may move Giancarlo Stanton down from the 3rd spot in the batting order.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday.
Balls you fire.
Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
I always let this play along. You just have to just come to understand that.
I wonder if there's a format that could work where you just have the segments and then the music and then limited sponsorships and then you charge more for it, because I think people would listen to that in droves.
I'd like to give it a try because I certainly love to expose different types of music and talk about them and do things like on the radio. But, you know, there is, well I know we have these licensing fees and things that you got to adhere to, but you know, the thought process of doing shows that sound more like podcasts, which this one does because we do more long form stuff, but they'll play music, steady play music underneath really low while you're talking.
Yeah.
I've noticed that ESPN does that sometimes. I think Jalen Jacoby did
they
that.
It works, oddly enough.
It does work.
Yeah.
If you incorporate it as an element of the show, yeah.
Indeed.
It does work. This is actually fun. This is an interesting question, too, so I'll answer it. Thanks for your question, Ryan. At Jay Cameron Show, who do you think is Taggart's golden ticket hire? Greg Fry? Raymond Woody? Is what his question was to us. No, I would argue David Kelly, who is extremely well thought of as a wide receivers coach and recruiter, might be a huge hire. Might be the biggest hire that, well, I don't say biggest. Harlan Burnett's a real good hire. Greg Fry's a real good hire.
Walt Bell's a good hire.
Walt Bell's a real good hire, going to be a head coach. And I think anybody that's met Walt Bell and talked to Walt Bell and really researched Walt Bell kind of understands that we're not going to have Walt Bell here very long. This guy's fast-track ticketed to be a next head coach somewhere, and he'll get his opportunity. Wicked smart, very, very ambitious, will tell you as much, has told me that directly. So he's made no bones about what he wants. He wants to come here and succeed at an extremely high level and go. Now, it's not for a lack of loving it here or wanting to be here. It's just that when you're as young as he is and you've had as much success as he's had, you understand that, ultimately you want your own thing.
With the head man enjoying being here, it makes a difference, and there's a personal touch to it. But honestly, as long as you want the same thing I want and you're motivated and good at it, at the end of the day, that'll work for
it doesn't bother you that somebody may want to go do something elsewhere. In fact, you kind of encourage that. It means they'll constantly stay hungry and motivated and give you everything they got because they have other plans.
Well, and Walt says it, and he means it, that he wants to win one too. Like that whole
win a national title.
The whole line about I don't care what position I'm in or what the title is. There's probably a little bit behind the scenes negotiating when it comes to responsibilities and title. But I largely believe him when he says, I just want to win one, because to be able to say that you were on a championship team means something, and to go through those experiences is an education you'll never get in a theory or in a textbook about coaching. You can only experience it and do it. Every
good young coach or any assistant coach who has really any aspirations to go on, or even if they want to stay, they understand this, that the success of a head coach, if you're not the head coach, certainly leads to a greater salary for you and more responsibility and more opportunities. If the program is succeeding under Coach so-and-so and you're part of that staff that he hired, you benefit. And I think anybody who's able to kind of push their ego aside recognizes that if I'm a part of the greater success for this thing, it doesn't matter that I'm not named the head coach. It matters that that guy who right now is everybody's darling for having won a championship hired me, interviewed me, brought me here, and everybody thinks very highly of what he's doing, and thus I benefit from that. And it's true. I mean, I think if you come here and the offense is really humming, even if people recognize that Willie Taggart is calling plays, he brought in a guy whose offensive philosophy and mindset was simpatico, was somebody that you could work with and saw eye to eye with. Now, I know this too. A great head coach understands that, well, they may have a specialty, and maybe it's quarterback. In Jimbo's case, he was the play caller and offense coordinator, if you will, and quarterback's coach, and his expertise centered around a position he actually played, which was quarterback, and play calling and running an offense, right? But ideally, you surround yourself with guys that are going to aid you in your endeavor to get the most out of kids and win ball games and produce points. And in the case of an offensive coach, obviously it's opposite defensively. And you want to be able to trust guys implicitly that you're all on the same page, that when I need to go over here and do this other thing because I'm responsible for all of it, that they understand that, and it doesn't get to their head either. If I walk in and say, I need you to do this, 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 and this, and then it works exceedingly well, that you don't then just suddenly get ideas that, I don't need, look, it's not that easy, because if your goal is to go on to become head coach, you are going to have to find that guy that you trust implicitly, and that they're not, steady scheming behind your back or wanting more for ego purposes. If they want more because ultimately their goal is to be a head coach, and along the way they're working to the end of the success of the team as a whole, that opportunity arises because of it, then great.
Well, my thing when I saw the limited open practices that I went to, I was surprised to see, despite the fact that there are new faces around him in a lot of places, that Willie was much more of an overseer than a micromanager of a coach. You would think it would be human nature in a circumstance such as this. You get your dream job, you've got some familiar people who you can trust, but there are a lot of new guys, namely Walt Bell, the offensive coordinator, which you are presiding over and calling the plays for week to week, that he would be completely stuck right next to his new offensive coordinator, attached at the hip, making sure everything, every little detail is going just as he wants it. He wasn't exactly fully detached. He wasn't up in the tower or something looking down over practice. No. But at the same time, he kind of let the coaches do what they're going to do right off the bat.
He has said, too, I think a part of that, Tom, has to do with he needed to learn them. So he's got a philosophy, I'm sure. One of the things they do, they all go out to dinner together. He's made it a priority to get to know one another, and on and off the football field. And, open lines of communications, families spending time together. And he's also done that on the football field, which is to say, look, I interviewed you, I brought you in, some of you I've worked with before, so I already know how you operate. Others, I haven't as much. Maybe I know from a distance what you believe and how you go about it, but everybody coaches differently. And so out here on these practice fields, I'm not only evaluating players and installing a new way of doing things, but I'm evaluating you. I'm taking a closer look at how you do things, not so much because I can tell you I want you to change, but so that I can offer up what I do that will aid you and also will get in line with what our overall mission statement is and how we operate. So, you do things differently than I do things, but I need to incorporate what you do so that we can succeed. And so I got to get to know you. I got to know how you do, how you work. And that's true across the board. I think he's learned how he took spring to kind of learn, well, this is how he does it, and this is how he does it. This guy's a screamer. This guy's very quiet. This guy's all about what we do in the film room, and out here it's about pace. Over here it's about instruction. You need to learn that.
But it's a style all his own because, again, looking at what Jimbo did when he was here, you can understand why. I would even agree. I think if it was me personally, I would more want to be I'm going to lead the way, set the tone, and everybody gets in line, and then I will give you your own personality and your own responsibilities as I set a standard for all of us. Whereas it appeared, again, with Willie that everybody kind of does their own thing. I will learn you, and then we'll tweak from there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like get your coaches in line first is one philosophy, and you do that by leading by example, and then from that point on, they can have their little nuances and we'll learn each other. But I'm going to lead the way. And then when I'm done speaking, you may speak. Instead of, go ahead, do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look at how he runs this route, but I'm also going to take a look at how you're mentoring the young lad.
I actually think that's more intimidating. I think it's more intimidating to be being assessed and watched over by the head coach who's remaining somewhat quiet in the process, not telling you one way or the other, I approve of that or not. Just, I'm watching, buddy.
Oh, it's the harder for the assistant coach.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because, I mean, he's telling you you're free to do what you do. I hired you, didn't I? You're free to do what you do. I'm watching. That's a toughie.
But it also speaks volumes, once again, about the different personalities.
Yeah, and I think, too, coaches, you find they have in some way somehow interacted long before they're ever together on a staff in some capacity. I mean, that is a real close-knit fraternity, coaching is. Professional coaches go to coach camps all over the country for years on end. They are aware of each other, their philosophies, their way of doing things, especially, they have shared co-workers and experiences usually within the game, if they're from certain regions. I don't think that – I think you're not often completely caught off guard by what a guy does. Like, you may not have ever worked with Walt Bell on a staff, but you've worked with somebody who has, and you're aware of what his philosophy is. And there are only so many ways to teach a route, so many ways to incorporate that route within a overall scheme, right, with what you're doing. If you're on the same page philosophically, this is what I want to run, you know how to run this offense, there's only so many ways you can go about teaching this.
Yeah, it's just different because we have a system and a process, and it goes from the head man on down. I dictate to you how you do things versus, hey, you be you personally, and then we'll see how that all blends together.
Well, I know this. I think that if you hire people that you think are the best for the job and you went through the painstaking efforts to interview those people, vet those people, and go through what their previous work suggests and all of that, you want to know that you can trust they're going to come in and do what you expect of them and that they're free to operate and that I surround myself with really good people. Now go do what you do and make me look good. That's how we're going to play this game. And it works, usually. And when it doesn't.
Not to be cowherd, but that's a good formula for business.
It's a real good formula for business, absolutely. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Truck and Car Concepts, we're your one-stop shop for tripping out and truck. Truck and Car Concepts, people with their cars, we're number one by far. Bed liners, bed caps, toys to throw your money at. Car stereos, car alarms, things for all you soccer moms. Detail and diamond plate, parts to fix your tailgate. Truck and Car Concepts, we're your one-stop shop for tripping out your truck. Truck and Car Concepts, people with their cars, we're number one by far. Exterior accessories, gift kits for your mud needs. Mud tires, nice wheels, everyone will get a deal. Window tinting, that's a must. Come on out and visit us. Truck and Car Concepts, we're your one-stop shop, we always aim to please. Truck and Car Concepts, everything is here from A to Z.
I'm Fred Conrad, and I'm a criminal defense lawyer. For almost 20 years, I've been practicing DUI law in Tallahassee. Did you know if you're arrested for a DUI in Florida, your driver's license will be suspended regardless of whether you refuse a breath test or if you give a breath sample over the legal limit? And you only have 10 days from the date of the arrest to contest the suspension. Did you know in Florida, a DUI conviction will stay on your record for the rest of your life? If you've been arrested for a DUI, don't blow it. Call my office and talk to me today, 222-4005, or visit my website, fredconrad.com. I'll personally handle your case.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 3 games in the NBA playoffs tonight, including Game 2 for the Cavaliers and the Pacers in Cleveland. Indiana dominated Game 1, and Cavaliers coach Ty Lue says there could be a lineup change for tonight. We'll have the Pacers and Cavaliers starting at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Kentucky forward Wenyen Gabriel is now the 5th Kentucky player to declare for the NBA draft, but like P.J. Washington, he will not hire an agent right away, which gives him the option to return to Lexington. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Patriots quarterback Tom Brady hasn't fully committed yet to playing the 2018 season. Schefter says most people close to Brady believe he will play, but others think he should retire. As for the Patriots' strategy for next week's draft,
I think that they're wide open on the quarterback scenario going into next week's draft. We don't know how it's going to play out yet, but I would be very surprised if the New England Patriots didn't come away with a quarterback in the first 2 rounds of this draft. Maybe it's in round 1 where they have double ones. Maybe it's in round 2 where they have double 2s. Maybe it is moving up in the draft. It all depends on how the board falls.
Adam Schefter on Get Up. Titans GM John Robinson tells Nashville Radio the Midday 180 that the team plans to pick up the 5th-year option for 2019 on quarterback Marcus Mariota. The deadline to do so is May 3rd. The Yankees are off today, but when they open a 4-game series against the Blue Jays tomorrow night, manager Aaron Boone may move Giancarlo Stanton down from the 3rd spot in the batting order.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday.
Balls you fire.
Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I was about to cough. No, I'm not. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always on Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. WTSM app for mobile devices. Hey, I just saw that the Buccaneers are wishing our man Derek Brooks a happy birthday. Hey, D. Brooks, spot your helmet with your signature on it over the weekend at the spring game.
I've yet to see this. So where'd it go?
Yes, it's at my house.
Oh.
It's awesome.
I thought it was going to be around here.
It may be in time. Now I like it in the glow, the sunlight coming through and hitting on the old Buccaneers logo. Not the side of the autograph.
Right. I was going to say, not to fade it.
No, not to fade it at all. No, man, it's awesome. I loved it. I got excited when I saw it, and I couldn't help myself. So,
was it an expensive proposition?
Well, I don't know what you consider expensive, Tom. It was not cheap, but it wasn't crazy. It wasn't $1,000, if that's what you're wondering.
Right?
No, it was less than $1,000.
Okay, so $850.
No, it was less than $800. But it was something that I said I think I would like to have because it was the old Buccaneers helmet and with Bucko Bruce, and it was a Derek Brooks signature, and Derek is one of my favorite players of all time. It's interesting. Derek Brooks, who, of course, if you're a fan of Florida State, you love, and if you're a fan of the Bucs, you love, and if you're a fan of both, then he's the perfect player because he's in both Hall of Fame, and it's amazing to think about, right? And he won a championship with both, and that's all exciting. And I love that legacy of his. But it's weird because he's my second favorite linebacker to ever play here. And, Shade Tree's always going to be my guy, but it was just perfect because of that Bucs helmet.
Well, and then you were also a Shelton Quarles guy over Derek Brooks at the next level.
Hardy Nickerson for the brief time.
My first jersey as a kid. I got a Hardy Nickerson.
I loved him too. But yeah, Derek is... I think, by the way, that is really one of the great stories, too, of this spring. I think for all the angles we've taken to talk about, what we're excited about, and there is plenty to be pumped up about with this team and what they're going to be and what they're going to look like, how they're going to play, talk about more attacking, all that stuff is fun. But I don't, if you had told me at the start of spring that one of the stories was going to be DeKalyn Brooks, I would have looked at you funny because we'd never even mentioned the name. I mean, most people did just assume he was here because of who Derek is, not because of merit.
Yes, and there's enough to see from Saturday that he moves well when he's out there.
Yeah, he's undersized, but again, so was his dad.
But I have a hard time, the farther we get away from that game, I have a hard time picking apart what happens in the trenches with what happens with the linebacker play.
No, it's really weird.
Just because the offensive line play was so suspect that beyond receivers and defensive backs and some of the things the running backs are able to do when they are, in the hole and they've got to make somebody miss, it's hard to evaluate exactly what we are or aren't on defense in the front seven.
We're a long ways away just now from being a finished product. I think that part is real. You're right. I wanted to assess as best I could the quarterbacks. Somebody tweeted at me and said it doesn't matter who Bailey Hockman was throwing to. You still have to make an accurate throw. Oh, no doubt. But it does matter who you're throwing to as opposed to, guys that can't get open and that you're not – listen, the talent you're throwing to does matter. You're right. You have to execute the throws. I'm not taking away from Bailey Hockman, who has a chance to compete for the job. I am saying that when you're throwing to bigger, better, faster receivers, it helps.
Seemed like there were more quick throws for James, and I think there was a reason for that too.
Well,
just saying.
Yeah.
What was going on in front of him.
Yeah, and I think the biggest question marks that surround this team begin and end with the offensive line. It's not that there aren't other question marks. The biggest, most important issue to look at is the offensive line. If you get even parts of that fixed to where it can play at an average to slightly above average level in the conference, then you got a chance to win, 9-10 games and do something pretty great your first year. If you don't, you got a chance to go 8-4, and there'll be a lot of people wondering just what's better around here. And listen, it won't be fair, but that's how fans will react if they lose 4 games.
I don't know if the grace period wouldn't extend for the entire year. I think it might, and they might pin that on Fisher-Trickett because that was a point of contention even when times were good. And sometimes it was unfair to point the finger at the offensive line because it was doing fine. The second half. Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Not towards the end. It would bleed over into this administration where you'd say, well, what was he supposed to do? The offensive line was an issue last year, lost 6 games. Offensive line was an issue this year. They won 8. They lost 4. You could see how those arguments might be made in the future. It's just, for me, it's difficult to take a look at what happened in the spring game and say, well, this offense is going to be unstoppable when I don't know that we're going to be able to win first down.
Yeah, it's really scary to go into the fall. Again, that line will be better because guys that you're projecting to start will be healthier and back with the program, and you're missing key components to that group, so it's hard to assess it. I don't think even at their best, even if all those guys come back and are completely healthy and in better shape and stronger and better coached, that they are an elite level group. They're not, and I think that's what scares me more than anything else is that for too long we were whiffing on the high caliber, offensive recruit on the offensive line, offensive line recruit. So you're going to have to stockpile some just better raw talent at the position that you're then going to mold with Greg Frey, who I think will do a great job here to really see a huge leap forward. And maybe that happens. I think it will happen. No, not maybe. It's already starting. You just got a commitment at IMG. Big, huge kid. Moves well, 6'5", 325 pounds. I mean, you're going to see that crop and that group improve greatly. But between where we are right now and how quickly you can get those guys into the fold and get them ready to play is going to determine just how great you can be. I think ultimately they're going to be a very good to elite program again because they're going to recruit elite players, and that tends to go hand in hand. I mean, it's about the Jimmies and Joes. It just always is. You got to get good players to be good. Alabama's well coached. Clemson's well coached. Ohio State's well coached. Guess what else they do? They have better players than everybody they play 99% of the time. So when you get those players up front, and they're well coached, well, then you can go and dominate. Then you can beat people senseless. And I'll continue to repeat something I think is absolutely true. Florida State is going to get back to manhandling the middling to subpar teams of this conference. These games are not going to be close by virtue of style play. You're going to see those teams get killed. It doesn't mean that instantly you're going to be able to go up and beat and defeat Clemson and Miami on the road and some of the better teams right off the bat. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Did you know that propane-powered clothes dryers outperform electric models in energy efficiency, drying time, and garment protection? So dry your clothes more efficiently with propane. Propane water heaters give you more hot water at a more affordable price. Compared to electric, energy-efficient propane water heaters can reduce your energy costs significantly. For more information, call AmeriGas Propane here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
Could you turn that down a little, please? Hello, my name is Jim Smith, and I'm the owner of Poor Paul's here in Tallahassee. First, I want to thank you all for stopping. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm here on the Capitol steps and why I don't have any clothes on.
Because you're a pervert.
Let me explain. This is being recorded for a Poor Paul's radio commercial, and I think if I record it totally nude, people will pay more attention to my message. Business is great at Poor Paul's, but I still have one small problem.
I'll say you do.
My problem is that in spite of having free Gumby's Pizza and $4.95 pitchers every Sunday and Monday night, free beer and free mixed drinks for our lovely ladies every Tuesday night, and other great money-saving specials every other night of the week, some of you are still going to other bars. Bars whose owners would never bare their souls, so to speak, as I am. So I'm simply asking for your business so Poor Paul's can grow.
I see something else that needs to grow.
This isn't working. Hand me that towel, please.
I have a hanky.
The United States Postal Service has been around since 1775, and since then, you can rely on the Postal Service to make sure what matters to you gets to your mailbox. You'd think you couldn't improve on that. But now, with informed delivery notifications, you'll know when those important packages and letters are coming to your mailbox, with an email every morning telling you what's on the way. It's the reliability of the United States Postal Service matched with the technology of today. It's time to get peace of mind. Sign up now for free at informeddelivery.com. Informed Delivery. If it's in the mail, it's in your email.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So, we just had Brett Favre on the program a week or two ago. What was it, a week ago?
Yeah, last week.
God, that seemed like it was eons ago, and some things we do seem like they were yesterday and or they were a long time ago and they were brief. It's just weird.
I think it was Tuesday we had Brett on.
I think you're right. It was a delightful interview. If you missed it, it's in the archives. Go to ESPNTallahassee.com to find it. Go back. You can find any of our segments. But we talked to him and Dr. Van Lanningham. By the way, they were on the Today Show. Saw that. That went well. And, obviously trying to get where Prevacus becomes approved and aids those suffering from concussions or preventable effects of concussions. It's nothing you can do to go back and help guys that have had a lot of concussions. And that brings me to this. I feel that story that's floating out there today with Brett Favre and the one that he had to actually take the time to address on Twitter is kind of sad because it does reveal something that, frankly, you could hear in the interview. Now, Brett was good with us, and his thoughts were coherent. He made salient points about concussion and why he joined the Prevacus team and other athletes who are advocating to see if this can get pushed through and the clinical trials can be completed so that kids playing youth sports and those people in the military and others that could greatly benefit from this drug would be able to do so. So I don't want to say that I was alarmed at his appearance with us. But the story reads as follows, that he was endeavoring to join the ESPN Monday Night Football team, that the opening left by John Gruden's departure to coach the Raiders led to ESPN looking to complete its Monday Night Football crew and interview people and potential candidates, and they were interested in Brett Favre. And so that they met and had a tryout. Now, apparently, that tryout is described by some as having gone poorly for Brett. That he failed the tryout, for lack of a better term, that he wasn't a good fit to provide analysis. Brett Favre himself came out and said, I wanted to clear something up from today's press on me and ESPN. Truth is, I had a good meeting about possibly joining the Monday Night Football crew. I was intrigued when they called, yet not sure I want to pursue a broadcasting career right now. I wish them the best of luck and a great season. That's from Brett. Well, that's a classy response. If he doesn't pursue it now, he can't pursue it, Tom. I think the signs of long-term problems are there for Brett Favre. I'm not going to skate around this, and I think he knows that, and I think that's why he has decided to join that team and to work in an effort, obviously, to help Jake Van Landingham and those involved with Prevacus, because he knows that as a guy, and it's just logic, it just stands to reason, that as a guy, which he said in our interview, my interview with him, that may have suffered 1,000 concussions, that things aren't going to get better for him.
Well, if he's asking, can you cure me? Can you do something for me? What does that imply? That there are signs and effects of his playing days to the brain, man. But even still, if Brett never suffered a concussion, just listening to him at press conferences in years gone by,
doesn't talk fast enough.
The cadence isn't quick enough for the game.
That's right. That's what it is. He gets the game. I know he gets the game. You can sense that even just talking to him now. He definitely gets it. And what he's doing, by the way, I would do, and I think a lot of ex-athletes are doing, and that is advocating for, searching for something of a cure for the next wave of athlete and or anybody in that realm that would need it, like those in the military, as we said. So good for him for that. I think that should be celebrated. But
I think so too. I think, in fairness and transparency, he might be compensated or he's an investor. So, he would see financial benefit from doing this. He's not doing it out of the goodness of his own heart. That might be some of it, but it's not the total equation.
Well, there's no doubt he would get financial gain if this were to happen. And I think all of the athletes that are involved with Jake probably would. I think that's true. But I do think those two things can be simultaneously true.
Yes.
I do think it comes from the goodness of his heart. I do think it comes from being a father and not wanting your grandkids to play football, a question we asked him directly and that he answered directly. The idea of people suffering the way that he currently may be at times and others, and that he has seen. He brought Junior Seau up in our interview. He brought Tony Dorsett up, who was a hero of his growing up, and in a weird way, me too. I loved Tony Dorsett as a kid. No, I think that's genuine. I think a lot of guys that played the game, whether certainly not even as high profile as Brett Favre, feel that way now. Very scared for those that played with them, alongside them, or came just after them. And certainly the thought of it affecting kids is a compelling reason to get involved in something like that.
Well, I agree. And again, I don't want to say that's the only reason that he's involved, because you're right, things can be simultaneously true.
Right,
but,
yeah, sure. If you seek to make a lot of money off of something that could be helpful, that's great. Sure.
Right. He'll stump for Copperfit. So, I think there's some element of that there,
I've
too.
never used Copperfit, but I do want to use this little trim razor thingy, a little buzzy thing. for all the hairs. Have you seen
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah, that's right.
I always think I'd like to
No
try
threat
that.
of being cut in the face or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm like, well, that looks good. I'll use that on my neck.
Well, and if this thing gets through, if Prevacus is actually as good as advertised or researched, right?
Or
that's
proves
probably
to be true, right? Yeah.
the benefits, and we had a listener reach out via email to us about, it's not just football. And that's what Dr. Van Landingham said in the interview, is that football accounts for whatever little percent we're talking about here.
19%.
Yes. But it's for any sport. I mean,
soccer.
You're
it's
going up for a
anything.
header because, again,
women's soccer suffers. It's almost
the data there
yes,
is pretty damning.
like a plague. Yes, it's awful. It throughout that sport, it's very, very dangerous. You find out when you look at the statistics, you find out it is wide ranging. Cheerleaders suffer greatly from concussions. I'm talking about
right.
The
I
actual
think
competition.
This listener and they admitted it was a good email with research and all that kind of stuff, but they freely admitted that they're a little bit more sensitive to the idea of just coming after football when there are more wide ranging problems than just football. But
sure.
I think it's also smart for Dr. Van Landingham, given that the conversation in the country is about specifically football, that you might want football players to be at the helm here.
Well, it's also the most popular sport we're discussing. Women's soccer is not.
Correct.
So it's very easy to understand why that would be
But
the case.
you have a son or a daughter who's involved in any of these youth sports, and they take a hit to the head or an elbow to the head, and you get nasal spray or whatever it is instead of smelling salts.
It's in
you
a
get
powder
Prevacus.
form, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, well, by the way, both my kids play youth sports. One plays soccer right now. He's in the middle of a season. The other one's playing Little League Baseball, and he's in the middle of a season, of course. Yeah, that's a given. And you want that baseline. You can get that baseline done now, by the way, for all kids going into youth sports. Get baseline testing done so we know where you were at before you start. And if something happens, like an injury, and you suspect you may have suffered a concussion, you can go back and look and compare the data to the baseline and know exactly what's going on, which is we've already made great strides, and they continue to make great strides. This is... It stands to reason, and without question, everybody is in favor of finding something like this or helping fund something like this or fast-tracking something like this if it's going to aid kids in any sport or those in our military, right? I mean, I hope this person understands that I'm not solely worried about football.
It was not that. No, it was the Brett comment that he didn't want his kids to play football. And it was, the follow-up is there are plenty of sports that kids don't know how to play. They're not coordinated enough, and so you could suffer concussions anyway.
Sure.
But I think we all can also reasonably agree that football might put you at a greater risk than, say, basketball.
You think? Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Learn more at BarronOAC.com.
There ain't no heating and air conditioning
Florida license CAC 057652.
Truck drivers, check this out. Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee took a brand new Nissan Titan and a brand new F-150 around town, parked them side by side with a compare sign between them. The results were crazy. People couldn't stop checking out the Titan. They looked under the hood, sat behind the wheel, and called friends on the phone, took pictures. So if you have not seen the new Nissan Titan, you need to come see what you're missing. There are a lot of reasons why Truck Trends magazine named the Nissan Titan the 2017 Truck of the Year. In head-to-head comparisons versus F-150, Titan has better handling, better 0 to 60 acceleration, more horsepower, more torque, and frankly, it's better looking. And the topper? Titan costs less than F-150. TruckYow.com joked that the Nissan Titan XD is the best F-150 you can buy. In April, save up to $10,000 off MSRP on Nissan Titans at Kraft. This Nissan Town Tallahassee may soon be turning into a Titan Town too. Kraft Nissan near Costco on Mahan Drive.
I'm Michael Blank, an attorney with the Personal Injury Law Office of Jose R. Fernandez. If you get into an accident, call 1-855-HOSE-305. That's 1-855-HOSE-305. We don't get paid until you do. Se habla español. Offices Tallahassee and Miami.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale. Don't miss great Buy One, Get One Free deals throughout the store. So many BOGOs, we can't name them all. Start the season right with savings on quality products from Scott's, Roundup, Ortho, and more. There are so many BOGOs and so many ways to save. Hurry in. The Ace Buy One, Get One Free sale ends Monday. Offers valid at participating stores. Buy select item and get designated item free. See store for details.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 3 games in the NBA playoffs tonight, including Game 2 for the Cavaliers and the Pacers in Cleveland. Indiana dominated Game 1, and Cavaliers coach Ty Lue says there could be a lineup change for tonight. We'll have the Pacers and Cavaliers starting at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Kentucky forward Wenyen Gabriel is now the 5th Kentucky player to declare for the NBA draft, but like P.J. Washington, he will not hire an agent right away, which gives him the option to return to Lexington. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Patriots quarterback Tom Brady hasn't fully committed yet to playing the 2018 season. Schefter says most people close to Brady believe he will play, but others think he should retire. As for the Patriots' strategy for next week's draft,
I think that they're wide open on the quarterback scenario going into next week's draft. We don't know how it's going to play out yet, but I would be very surprised if the New England Patriots didn't come away with a quarterback in the first 2 rounds of this draft. Maybe it's in round 1 where they have double ones. Maybe it's in round 2 where they have double 2s. Maybe it is moving up in the draft. It all depends on how the board falls.
Adam Schefter on Get Up. Titans GM John Robinson tells Nashville Radio the Midday 180 that the team plans to pick up the 5th-year option for 2019 on quarterback Marcus Mariota. The deadline to do so is May 3rd. The Yankees are off today, but when they open a 4-game series against the Blue Jays tomorrow night, manager Aaron Boone may move Giancarlo Stanton down from the 3rd spot in the batting order.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Nick Wednesday.
Balls you fire.
Brought to you by TNT Super Center, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
The handlers for one Saquon Barkley do not want him to go to Cleveland. According to a report with the NFL draft nearly upon us, woohoo! You'll see recently Sports Illustrated with Saquon Barkley or Baker Mayfield on the cover. The story there is that Ben Baskin writes the article for Sports Illustrated, said that he learned of Barkley's handlers, represented by Rock Nation. We know Rock Nation Sports, an arm of hip-hop superstar Jay-Z.
Brooklyn stand up.
What they think about him being taken number 1 overall would be a negative for the running back. They don't want him in Cleveland, writes Baskin. They want him to go second to the Giants and play in the media capital of the world. Well, yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Then you can become a face of the league, and I think the league would really want that, and I find that more interesting. Like I'm always interested because the Shield, as it's known, certainly I think manipulates things behind the scenes more than we'd like to believe. I do believe that happens because the commissioner is insane and is really, really concerned about all things perception regarding the NFL and has had so many missteps along the way that if he could somehow orchestrate, however cautiously, or massage a situation to help manipulate the outcome, that he would. If you could get Saquon Barkley, who by all accounts is an awesome kid, smart, driven, focused, going to be a bona fide superstar, freak of an athlete, all those things, but also a great face for the league, if you could get him to New York, yeah, I bet Roger Goodell would attempt to do that. I think you'd love Eli Manning handing the ball to Saquon Barkley, and Cleveland needs a quarterback anyhow.
Yeah, well, how would he do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, Cleveland has the number. I mean, they can choose Saquon and say, we'll get our whatever quarterbacks left at 4.
I agree with you. I don't think he can do it. If he could do it, if he could somehow influence it, I think he would.
Well, and he would send Odell Beckham to Cleveland. That's what he'd do.
Yeah,
because he's
revenge, to get angry, or just to be.
No, just because he's not a good look for the league right now. Odell is one of the.
But being sent to Cleveland is like punishment, is all I'm saying. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Goodell said, well, listen, you're in the press for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, doing lines of cocaine with hookers is not a good thing.
Forevermore, you are besmirching this.
Not if you're a face of the league.
This perfect shield. This has always stood for integrity and discipline and the right way of doing things. That's what he believes.
Yeah, I know.
That is what he believes.
But that evokes a hearty laugh indeed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's insane, as you said.
Yeah. I will say this. I think I would want him to go to Cleveland if I were a rational thinking commissioner. I think it would be good for Cleveland to be a lot better football team and to have a guy that could represent the organization in a way that I'd be very proud of, and the fan base who's so passionate and desperate to see it. A historical franchise rooted in failure these days turn around.
Well, let's not forget. I mean, Tyrod Taylor is going to be there, so you're going to have at least a league average quarterback, right? Then you have Jarvis Landry, who just joined the program, and Josh Gordon's there. Remember Josh Gordon? He played at the end of the season. He looked like he was all right. He still had something left in the tank. You could have young quarterback, understudy for Tyrod Taylor, Saquon Barkley, and weapons on the perimeter with a defense that has been pretty good despite Cleveland's follies over the last 5 to 6 years especially. That defense has been scary enough that if you go play there at 1 o'clock on the road, it's not a surefire win. It's very much, to me, a chance for Cleveland to be branded and cool again, because it does feel like
I agree with that.
We're on the brink here of the NFL's powers kind of flipping a little bit. I think we're seeing a sea change. Obviously, New England is its better days are behind it.
Yeah, I think they're teetering. You're seeing major figures within that organization speak out against the coach for the first time.
Right. So there are cracks in the armor there. In 2 to 3 years,
Plus, you got to age, yeah.
That thing's done, I think. Then you got
Thank
Pittsburgh.
God. Good Lord.
You've got Pittsburgh, who is openly, they're reporting that they're going to trade up to get Lamar Jackson. Okay, so Ben's going to retire in a year or two, and Lamar's going to be
that
your
would
first
be the
backup.
dumbest move that organization's ever made.
And Le'Veon Bell is in a dispute year after year after year. So how often or how much longer is Le'Veon going to be in that uniform? So you're losing.
Whoa. Can we go back to? I'm sorry. I believe you. I know you read that.
Yeah.
Please tell me, inform me further that the Pittsburgh Steelers are talking about trading up to get Lamar Jackson.
I'll cite my source. I'll go pull up the exact.
No. I'm not doing that to try to provide doubt. I'm saying I know you read that. So what? In the first round?
Yes.
Why would they need to trade up? Lamar is going to be there.
Yes. It's silly season. It's silly season.
Yeah.
But that is it's one of the
Oh my God! I mean, let me tell you something.
Sporting News.
I believe you.
Steelers rumors rev up after Lamar Jackson Pro Day.
Here's the thing: other than the fact that he's completely inaccurate, and that's a big part of playing quarterback in the NFL in particular.
NFL.com, are the Steelers the best fit for Lamar Jackson? I mean,
with like the 50th pick, what in the world are they talking about? That's nuts. This is what has to happen for Lamar Jackson to be a huge success as an NFL quarterback. We have to continue to see the transformation around the league of how offensive football is played. If that happens, and I'm not saying it won't, but every time we think it's about to, it reverts back to yesteryear, and it becomes a game full of pocket passers with few exceptions. So Lamar Jackson doesn't possess what Russell Wilson possesses outside of the pocket, which is this desire to continue to look downfield and throw the ball accurately while on the run.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find the exceptions, Deshaun Jackson, who a year ago – not Deshaun Jackson, I keep saying that, don't I?
Lamar.
No, I'm combining Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. My apologies. And not because they're black quarterbacks. But guys who succeed, who have the ability to really run the football and do something above and beyond what you see throughout the league at that position, usually also possess an accurate arm and the ability to continue to make things happen down the field when they're outside of the pocket. Lamar didn't. Lamar beat your ass because he was just a better athlete than you were. He was faster than everybody on your team. He made you miss in a phone booth and embarrassed you. But it wasn't because he was this great thrower of the football.
I agree with you. That's why I'm saying I think there's a sea change here for what organizations are going to be the preeminent ones in football. And Cleveland would have a chance in that division where Cincinnati's not going to change coach and quarterback until I'm 50.
Until they die.
If the Steelers are waning a little bit, Baltimore's tied up with Flacco, and that they're going to be an 8-8 type team year in and year out. You've got a chance for Cleveland with weapons on offense and a decent defense to sneak into a wild card berth for the next year or two.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's hope so. The problem is this, and this is always true, and I come back to it, and it really is just an Achilles heel for our favorite team, and it bothers me to no end because deep down I know this to be true, and so do you. Time and evidence over that time has proven it time and again. Really well organizations tend to do all right for themselves and win championships and are a perennial power, and those that are run poorly illustrate that on an annual basis and don't make really huge strides. They make baby steps forward that gets their fans excited, and then they screw it up. So the Bucs are a poorly run organization, and while they have a franchise quarterback, they're doing other things along the way in his short time there to screw that up. They don't have a great relationship between the player and the coach. You've got a management situation that's not great where the GM is kind of in
they're on the hot seat immediately when we kick off the season.
Right.
Both
so
of them.
Right off the bat, you've got just evidence time and again that they're not well run. Whereas the Steelers are always well run and have been forever and a day. And so when they go through pockets of change where they don't perform well, they usually bounce back pretty quickly. That's why I really raise an eyebrow at the Lamar Jackson rumors. And it may happen. But, Cleveland's a poorly run organization, has been for a long time.
This is true. Things can change, and here's why I'm saying this. In 3 years, project in 3 years, who's the coach and the quarterback of the New England Patriots? Probably two different people than are right now, the coach and the quarterback. I mean, Brady's not even guaranteeing he's playing next year, which is turning into this old media circus. For the Steelers, haven't we said in the last couple of years, 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you, Mike Tomlin?
Well, Mike Tomlin could get fired, but
Well, but is Ben going to be their quarterback in 3 years? No. Is Bell going to be there in 3 years? No. So,
the only way, if you're the Steelers, unless Ben just is beaten up and wants to retire and is telling you, look, I don't have much left in me. Man, when I watch him play, he's still elite. He is still a great quarterback. I don't know where all this chatter comes from, the idea that they don't want Ben or they should move on from Ben. I mean, he's a great player.
As that Ben says every year, this is my last year.
I mean, I would pull him aside and say, A, stop saying that if it's not true, and B, are you seriously going to retire? We need to know because don't take offense, but we're going to draft a damn quarterback. And by the way, it wouldn't be Lamar Jackson. That's just dumb as hell.
If it is, though,
You're just steady trying to lose games. That's
Right.
nuts.
The times they are changing.
Maybe.
Here comes San Francisco.
You are providing a lot of hope for the Cleveland Browns. And the San Francisco 49ers did something that, Willie Taggart would be proud, right? Do something. They did do something. They went and took advantage of a New England organization that pissed off their head coach, who then said, I'll give you this guy for next to nothing.
Random NFL question of the day. Over under 10.5 wins for the Los Angeles Rams this season.
Over.
You think sometimes free agency and trade warriors don't actually pan out.
I agree, man, but they're loaded, and they were good last year, and they're young and hungry.
They're in that division now with San Francisco.
Well, again, I know that the book is not completely out on San Francisco, but
they don't have Reuben Foster, though.
Hurts
their defense. I think it's safe to say he's probably not playing for them next year.
Garoppolo seems to check all the boxes. He's a big guy, throws the ball exceptionally well, is an accurate passer, stands tall in the pocket, has a flair for the dramatic, wins games late, all the things you'd like to see. Had the blessing and had been bestowed as the guy up next to replace Tom Brady by a legendary Hall of Fame coach, all those things. Having said all of that, he hasn't played hasn't started more than 7 games.
I think the fascinating thing there, though, is you have a blend of young, up-and-coming quarterback with great offensive minds. Nobody doubts that Kyle Shanahan is a fantastic offensive mind. And in the same division, you have robot quarterback who takes orders from a great offensive mind.
Well, and young and smart and aggressive and different and attracting free agents. And, yes, the Rams clearly think their time is now.
Yeah.
I mean, you go out and take chances on personality conflicts in the locker room because they can really play if you believe you can win a championship now. Because what does winning do? It solves all of that. It doesn't make a difference if they're all egomaniacs. If you're winning, they'll get in line.
It does, but it's combustible, too, with these personalities that you have.
Oh, no. You're telling me you got a locker room with Sue and anybody. It's combustible.
Donald's in a contract dispute. Sure. Peters can be a problem. And
all those guys. But if you're winning, it all goes away. Yeah. They all get in lockstep because they want a ring. All those guys want a ring, and none of them have one. None of them. So that's the shared thing. If one or two of them had rings already and they were going there to finish it out, I'd say, yeah, you may have a problem. None of them have rings, and they all desperately want one. So as long as they get off to a decent start, they're going to be a problem. Chef Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100. Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less. I have to tell you, I find it amusing, and I continue to watch when these things happen. But I think I first guessed this, and I'm sure it wouldn't have been difficult just based on his career. But, Giancarlo Stanton is struggling. And what I think is funny is that he is, at the stadium, as they like to call it, my man is hitting .086 with 3 RBIs on the season. He has struck out in the Bronx 20 times. He stranded 4 more runners yesterday. He sucks. He's terrible.
Struggling.
Now, this is the thing. It's funny to me to hear the people there booing him as they're a 500 club, the Yankees are right now, and booing him mercilessly. Because I think if you were a knowledgeable fan, you would say that's not going to help this guy get better, which you need him to do, desperately need him to do. This is why you brought him in. It's also his MO. When he's bad, he's useless. He is of no use to your baseball team whatsoever. When he's good, he's winning you games on a nightly basis, single-handedly. Singly? Good one, Jeff. Single-handedly. Just the way Judge was. He's Judge from a year ago. When Judge was terrible to start the second half of the season and they made adjustments to him, he set records for futility. He was literally a bump on a log. You would have been better for stretches at a time than Mike. That's true.
Yeah. No, I'll wear one.
I mean, you would have probably gotten on base more frequently than he did over a 10-game stretch at points last year.
Right, and I didn't swing the bat once.
Not once.
And I would still be on
That's
base
correct.
more often, yes.
So they're two of the same guys. Now, people are changing and adapting, and Judge is still very early in his career, so we'll see. But this is Stanton. When Stanton gets locked in and is seeing the ball, he's capable of doing Herculean things. And in that bandbox of a ballpark, he might really wow us for stretches of 10 to 15 games where he literally hits 10 home runs or something absurd. What you'll end up doing is hearkening back to those days, the height of the steroid era, when Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa in a month would hit 20 home runs. What are we doing here? 20. This is ridiculous. It would happen, though. It did happen. So Stanton's capable of that. But when he goes south, he goes really south. And when he's not seeing it, oh, my God, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So that's what he's in. And I just wonder, this is the difference. There was nobody in Marlin Stadium. There was nobody there when he was striking out in 5 consecutive at-bats. There was nobody there to get angry about him going 1 for his last 39 with 20 strikeouts and not moving runners over ever, striking out looking like a buffoon, hitting into double plays when he did make contact. So he was kind of free to work through it without the weight of those expectations and vocal complaints. You're in New York City, baby, and we've seen it break stronger-willed people than Giancarlo Stanton and more consistent individuals than Stanton. So I'm really interested to see. I'm telling you, the human interest story to me, What will he do now that every time he takes to the batter's box, they boo him? He hadn't even come up for a plate appearance yet, and they booed him when they announced his name last night. That's ruthless.
It is. Yeah, and if I'm a Yankee fan, my number one concern starts and ends with Jason Bay. Remember, across town,
broke him.
The faraway look in Jason Bay's eyes after he had signed with the Mets. He had been an all-world player for stretches with the Pirates, but certainly with the Red Sox. He was using the wall in left field to his advantage for lots of doubles. And Citi Field was a bit of a different animal at the time. They didn't shorten the fences. You really had to earn it to get it out of the park. And after every strikeout, the same longing look for somewhere else, anywhere else. He did not want to be there. And you don't have to have that if you're a smart Yankee fan. I think you're right. You got to understand that this is who you got. The thing about Jason Bay was he was hitting, 280, 300, and he was a slugging machine gap to gap. But Stanton is all or nothing. His career says he's all or nothing. Yeah. So what the hell are you angry about? This is who you got.
Well, I don't know what they thought he'd do. I mean, it didn't help that he hit a home run on opening day. Is that still his only hit? I mean, it's like, everybody thought in the moment, well, here it is, look at this. No, man, that's just not who he is. He'll get hot, and they'll threaten the division at some point, and they'll threaten the 100 home run plateau that I threw out there. They're not catching Boston, but I did say this.
I wonder if they're going to threaten that division.
They may not have the pitching to do so, but I did say before the year began, Big Daddy J said, look, man, go take advantage of Vegas right now, who's trying to take advantage of the public. Don't be Joe Public. Do the right thing here. Flick those middle fingers at Vegas and laugh all the way to the bank, which is what I was doing in taking the under on the 100 home runs that they posted for Stanton and Judge. Now, I'll take my own advice here. I mean, neither of them are hitting home runs, and this is glorious. With every passing game, we make it that much more difficult for them to get hot and get to that 100 mark, and I'm fine with that. But I do know that sure as I sit here and watch them go 0 for the world every night and strike out every at-bat, there's going to be a stretch where the both of them get hot at the same time, and all of a sudden, especially those that are Yankee fans or just hate me, will be sending tweets and emails my way. Oh, what about tonight? They hit 4 between them.
Yeah,
and,
they'll have a month where they hit 36 between the two of them.
That's right. It's going to happen. It is going to happen, and I'm going to sit back and go, we'll see. I'm going to have to be the sage, All right, we'll see. Let's hang in there now, because I know that they're a week away from having an 0 for 4 night that hits them wrong, hits them a little funny, gets between the ears.
Oh.
I can't play this game.
What?
I'm doubting. I don't believe. I can't. That was a blur. Oh, no.
Skip, what do I do? And Aaron Boone says, well, I'm not so sure.
Well, what Aaron Boone is saying currently is he's going to move Stanton down in the lineup. What I love about that was that Boone was asked, and that's another fun thing for a first-year manager. Boone was asked about Stanton and his troubles and the fans booing him. Boone knows you can't ostracize the fans. So you can't say something in his defense that are going to piss off the fans because they'll turn on you because it's New York. And you also you need to show that nothing gets to you and nothing's bothering you. And you want to also exude that to your player. I do love the psychology in all of this, and I do think that's where a manager can have a big impact, and you're famously in love with Joe Torre for those kinds of things. But I will tell you that I think...
Maybe it's a bit, maybe it's not.
No, but what I would tell you is this. I think it's funny when a guy says, oh, listen, we've played 16 games of baseball. It's way too small a sample size. I'm not really all that worried. Besides, he's hitting on the road. He's doing fine. He'll get acclimated to New York. He'll be okay, and he'll start hitting here, and everything will be okay. And in the next sentence goes, we're thinking about moving him down in the lineup. Thinking about just going to go ahead and ease some of the stress, put him down around 6. I'm like, well, which is it? He's going to be all right. There's nothing to fear here. He's just got to get acclimated, or... well, my man, you're killing us. I'm going to move you down to the 8th spot.
Well, and you can never bat them back-to-back. That's never a good idea because they are, in fact, the same players. So, again, just later in the game, when you're looking at bullpen matchups, you would like to have things kind of mixed up a little bit. Maybe a lefty presence in between the two of them, somebody who hits something closer to 300, so perhaps you're afraid enough to have to offer them a strike, something along those lines. But back-to-back, I just think it's just not good policy. What was funny is last week I was looking at FanGraphs with Matthew, and I think it was through 12 games in the season. They might have been 6-6 at the time, whatever it was, but they were 500. And FanGraphs said they're still going to win 92 games. And I said, Really, you know how hard it is to win 92 games?
It is hard to win 92 games.
That team has a lot of holes. I mean, I get it. They have star power more than most any other team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're cared about more than any other team. You could argue that right now the Angels, through the first couple of weeks, have more star power than anybody. But 92 wins? Them?
Well, we'll see, right? Yeah, it's hard to see that.
Maybe 86, 88, but 92 is...
See if you can get that bet now.
Yeah,
a little
that's
Big
true.
Daddy J action. Get in there and take advantage of Vegas now. Well, look, at $325 million, you get why people are angry with Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, they see that price tag and they go, screw you. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Or they could just look at his career and say, well, this is what he does.
But I was going to say, I'd expound further and say that, well, you can be upset with Stanton, but you could also relax and know that you're armed with the knowledge that he's probably going to come around. I mean, he was an MVP a year ago in the National League. He was a guy that went nuts. I mean, that's not lost on me either for all the fun I like to have at his expense. And he did that in a huge ballpark.
Yeah.
So, no, I get it. But I think your greater concern as a Yankee fan here, if we're going to just talk shop, is the fact that your staff ERA is closer to 5 than 4, and your two guys, Tanaka and Sonny Gray, have an ERA of 6.62. That's more disconcerting than the Stanton Judge issue.
If you're talking about the reality of your record. Yes.
Right. I mean, you're going to need those guys to play well.
One is accounted for in a way, and one isn't accounted for.
Yeah.
That's why when they're celebrating doing backflips as though Bryce Harper just got traded to him, it's a good pickup. Hey, man.
Oh, yeah.
Jeter did you all a solid.
Yeah.
But, for the price, he's not going to be a guy. I mean, get to the playoffs and let him in New York in a best of 5.
Yeah, hit a home run or two.
Go 1 for 12 with 7 Ks in a series, and they lose the series. And
or the other way.
He'll be the most hated man. Well, sure, but what's more likely as pitchers get more careful and, you only see the top third of a rotation.
I agree with you, but I will say this about Stanton that's unique is that I feel like when he's locked in, he hits anybody. He hits everybody and anybody when he's right, whenever he has that confidence. His is about confidence. It's funny because you hear this a lot from coaches in every sport, and I just see it all the time. It's true in golf. It's true in baseball. It's true in basketball. It's true in, Leonard Hamilton talks about it a lot. Trey Jones talks about it a lot on a local level when I talk to those coaches. There's just things that you try to do to help foster that confidence and things that you can look for that concern you, where confidence may be lacking, and this is an indicator of it. And you can't always push the right button. You don't know. There are tried and true methods by which you base your coaching on. But when a guy has it, he can hit, and he's that way. He can hit anybody. When a guy has it, you can look at look at Brian and playing at Duke. He's over there shooting the lights out like he's a 30-point-a-night guy. And then later in the year, he can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Right. And we're waiting and waiting.
Yeah, and you're
like,
come on, Angola, I need you to hit a shot occasionally. Stanton's going to be that way, too. He's going to have these stretches. Now, I don't know about 086. He's hitting 086 in New York. I find that hilarious.
Yes. Well, you're right to say, and I've seen it a million times. The market can elevate your game to a place it's never gone, or it can take it down to a basement you never knew existed. Just because. He seems to be a bit of a soft, and I don't mean soft as in, tough, but he seems to be a bit of a soft-hearted person. Somebody who's a little bit more sentimental. Like things could get to him.
Yeah, you almost have to be an ass.
Yeah.
To survive in New York, really across the board. Like you almost have to be a bit of an ass. If you're in a high-profile position where everybody can see you and deal with you on a daily basis, and expectations of a $323 or $325 million contract. Sure. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
(1945). They prefer Widden glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
The United States Postal Service has been around since 1775, and since then, you can rely on the Postal Service to make sure what matters to you gets to your mailbox. You'd think you couldn't improve on that. But now, with informed delivery notifications, you'll know when those important packages and letters are coming to your mailbox, with an email every morning telling you what's on the way. It's the reliability of the United States Postal Service matched with the technology of today. It's time to get peace of mind. Sign up now for free at informeddelivery.com. Informed Delivery. If it's in the mail, it's in your email.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 3 games in the NBA playoffs tonight, including Game 2 for the Cavaliers and the Pacers in Cleveland. Indiana dominated Game 1, and Cavaliers coach Ty Lue says there could be a lineup change for tonight. We'll have the Pacers and Cavaliers starting at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Kentucky forward Wenyen Gabriel is now the 5th Kentucky player to declare for the NBA draft, but like P.J. Washington, he will not hire an agent right away, which gives him the option to return to Lexington. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Patriots quarterback Tom Brady hasn't fully committed yet to playing the 2018 season. Schefter says most people close to Brady believe he will play, but others think he should retire. As for the Patriots' strategy for next week's draft,
I think that they're wide open on the quarterback scenario going into next week's draft. We don't know how it's going to play out yet, but I would be very surprised if the New England Patriots didn't come away with a quarterback in the first 2 rounds of this draft. Maybe it's in round 1 where they have double ones. Maybe it's in round 2 where they have double twos. Maybe it is moving up in the draft. It all depends on how the board falls.
Adam Schefter on Get Up. Titans GM John Robinson tells Nashville Radio the Midday 180 that the team plans to pick up the 5th-year option for 2019 on quarterback Marcus Mariota. The deadline to do so is May 3rd. The Yankees are off today, but when they open a 4-game series against the Blue Jays tomorrow night, manager Aaron Boone may move Giancarlo Stanton down from the 3rd spot in the batting order.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Jeff Cameron Show, at least 4 today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do miss something, we got you covered all 3 hours. Going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Woohoo! I turned somebody on to the all-new, which is not all new at all, WTSM app yesterday at my son's baseball game. He said, that Tropos, I think I hear you call it, Jeff, was really bad yesterday. What do I do? I said, get the all-new WTSM app, Joker.
That's right.
It's free for both the iPhone and the Android. You don't have to worry about Tropos again. You just tune it on in there on your app. Listen in.
Set it and forget it, sir.
Crystal clear. Yeah. Turn it all the way up and rip off the knob.
If you have problems inside buildings, well, it penetrates buildings too. So there you go.
Well, all I know is that it does work, and so for all of the frustrations one might feel over Tropos, which I am included on that list, you could be safe, free from it, free from all of it. Seems that we had a mixed bag yesterday in I guess regards to the conversation that slanted negatively towards Jimbo and or celebrated all that is Willie. Kind of both extremes, and we heard back from both sides, people saying, all right, enough of that. And, my God, the dude hasn't won anything yet. I think most of us lie in between.
Yeah. Now this is centering around headlines. Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of that was headlines. You and I also talked some about it, though. I talked mostly about baseball that first hour, which, again, I stand by that. I don't think there's a lot of buzz for the baseball team they're playing right now. And, that's I found that more unfortunate than anything else. I felt like we were in an unfortunate set of circumstances with the baseball team and the end of a legendary career, because I don't know that you're going to get it back, that buzz I'm talking about. You may get the wins back, meaning you may start winning again. You did last night. Might start happening where you get right just as you did a year ago. Although I don't think, I will say this too, and I brought this up yesterday, I don't think the path to that kind of second half of the season or final third of the season is really as in place as it was a year ago, because they got healthier last year and they had some guys that were, as Willie Taggart would call them, dudes. No dudes on this team right now.
I think your candidate is actually the guy who's been pitching on weekdays all year long, and that's Carp.
Yeah.
He would be the candidate to turn to your frontline player, and then you have your ace, and from there you patch things together.
A lot of patching.
Ooh. There was last year, and then it all became this beautiful picture, though, where you had so many starting pitchers. I mean, think about it. Remember Zierzow and how brilliantly he pitched in, like, the one outing we had all year?
Yeah. No.
It was just they came from all directions. Everybody got right at the right time. Some huge outs recorded for confidence in the ACC tournament last year, facing elimination several times. I can think of Parrish having a huge half inning, too, getting us out of a jam. So I don't know, but I do feel like it would be Carp that is the candidate who has pitched against, Florida every time we played them and has done well by and large.
Yeah, the most amount of what for and a guy that you think you can turn to as almost your ace. It's funny because that would echo the sentiments earlier before the season even began of one Mike Martin Jr. who thought clearly that he was a candidate to be one of the more dominant pitchers on the staff, to say the least.
Right, and if it was Holton and Carp 1-2, then you could think about, now the offense
is a good 3.
Right, now the offense just needs to be, above average, and we're in business here, as long as the bullpen doesn't completely implode. But yesterday, you had another example of it. I get it, it's against Stetson, but there goes Carp. You get him out of the game early, and he's one half of the equation for a one-hit complete game. Well, one-hit shutout, but 2 pitchers adding up to that 1 hit. Beautiful.
No, hey, you'll take that all day long. It was nice to get back into the win column. I'm excited about that, again, as much as I can be, with no buzz and feeling towards the baseball team that is somewhat indifferent right now, which I don't like. I hate that. I hope that changes. I'm just going to continue to be honest when I do feel something or not. And so right now it's sort of a – but, you brought this up yesterday. I was talking with Tom Block, and you'll hear those guys on the front row Knowles coming up after this show is over. And Tom and I were talking about Florida State baseball in the hallways, and – he rightfully said, as you did yesterday, look, I do think it's a weird set of circumstances this year with all of the excitement and enthusiasm around Willie Taggart and that staff and the newness of things that have taken up most of our time from a media standpoint covering Florida State. Baseball could get lost in the shuffle. Add into that the fact that the basketball team went really late into the year, much later than we're accustomed to. And it's back-to-back years that they've had very good seasons and they've garnered momentum, but we did not anticipate an Elite Eight run. So that late of a run into March changes that dynamic some too. And I agree with that. I do. I think some other things have happened along the way that put baseball further on the back burner than it normally is. But I find more than anything else, rather than being a polarizing event or scathing indictment of, but rather just an observation, I find it all just disappointing. Because I think when you're on the cusp of setting an all-time record, it should be a grander event and a bigger deal, and there should be more buzz surrounding that accomplishment.
Well, you got a week to get that buzz back. I mean, it doesn't have to go all the way to his record-breaking moment where we don't have that much going on around it. I mean, again, a weekend series with Miami. They may not be what they were 10, 15 years ago, but it's a weekend series against Miami. There's a lot of history there.
Oh, great history, yeah. And they're struggling way worse than Florida State, by the way.
It would be apropos that if that's the team you could get it against, then everybody feels good after that stretch. I'm assuming here that we go on a run that we often do, which is you go unconscious for a couple of weeks, and then everything is right with the world. That's certainly what happened last year. From the darkest place it's ever been under Martin, you go on such a run that now we're talking national seed, or now we're talking College World Series. It's not above them to do that again. I know it's not rooted in fact. It's not rooted in trends. It's not rooted in numbers. But how many years do you have to do it before you just think, well, they're going to get it together? They always do.
They always do. And most years, I was of the mindset that I'll wait on that. Everything's going to be all right. Last year was the first time that I went, oh, no, I'm pressing the red button. I'm pressing it. Look at me over here, mashing this thing. We've got problems. I don't think we're coming back from this. And I was wrong. I was proven wrong. I haven't hit any red buttons this year. I've just been disappointed by the kind of lackluster nature of Florida State baseball. They don't do – that's really this team. They're not you don't have animosity towards this team. You're just kind of ambivalent.
Right.
They don't do any one thing real well.
It's a ho-hum season, though, too. Again, this is something from last week's discussion, which is you go to the College World Series, and now this year becomes about getting back. This isn't a whole new cast of characters. This is much of the same team from one year to the next. So you expect, after going to a College World Series, that that's going to be something that we're going to do this year. So you look ahead to the finish line, and the process doesn't matter as much. I think that's something, obviously, that's going to be a challenge for the basketball program next year. You go to an Elite Eight, it's almost like you skip a step. There wasn't a rise to prominence that we were all on board for. That was actually last year when we won 26 games. People were done with this team by the end of the regular season in basketball.
Yeah,
People didn't show up for a do-or-die game against Boston College. I mean,
man, you're going to be mad about that for a long time. And I don't disagree with you. That was frustrating, didn't make much sense, and seemed to chip away at my argument that we had made great strides as a fan base for basketball. Now, I'll maintain that I think on the whole we have, but that was not a great representation, and it certainly showed how far they still have to go. But I will say this, and let's put a ribbon on the baseball stuff and move forward, because I don't want to drag everybody down, and they're playing a game right now. It's very, very well within sight. I think you can see a scenario by which it happens, and soon. Basketball surpassing popularity of baseball in this town. The two programs.
You need another result.
You're going to get it. They're going to be good next year.
Well, yeah, you can't be one and done in the tournament.
No,
because we'll have gotten spoiled really fast. So if you go one and done in the tournament next year, then people are going to say, well, see, it was just a fluke. It's very tough to break that barrier for basketball.
I got you, but I would also say if they go and they're even in a position to go one and done, that will now be back-to-back years that you've gone to the tournament, and the two previous featured a second-round appearance after a record-setting regular season, followed by an Elite Eight appearance. The amount of goodwill that has been built up that would carry over into next season, and the reward being yet another appearance, again, I think would still be a step forward, even if it's a one-and-done, and we would be moving towards what I think is happening a little bit here, and that is that the FSU basketball program has got some major goodwill building.
Well, and the home schedule next year is really good. You got Florida coming to town in the non-conference season. Of course, you're going to get Miami, and that game was well attended this year. Was down at Gasparilla, but it was a sellout. Then you have Louisville, Duke coming to town, Virginia Tech, and we don't know our Big Ten combatant yet, and it could be a high-profile game or it could be a nothing game. But it's an ACC schedule that has some pretty big names coming to town.
Good stuff. I love it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
And storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Coup de Gras is your favorite New Orleans-style bar in the middle of Midtown Tallahassee. And now they're serving food with signature dishes like Remy Shrimp Bread Bowls and Shrimp Po' Boys. Happy hours from 4 to 8 Monday through Friday, and Coup de Gras features karaoke on Tuesdays, live music on Fridays, and DJ Gant is spinning the tunes on Saturday. Crew is open 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Monday through Friday, and 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. And coming soon, brunch will be served on Sundays. Check out the brand new, exciting menu at Coup de Gras, 1304 North Monroe Street, or give them a call today at 200-0114.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Super Lube my car. Yes, sir.
From the beginning, they were applauded. The music that sold over 100 million records. Chicago.
Friday, May 18th, 7:30 p.m. Donald L. Tucker Civic Center.
The music of Chicago.
Does anybody really know what time it is? Tickets are on sale now at TuckerCivicCenter.com. The Tucker Civic Center box office are charged by phone.
Chicago.
I have known for some time now that some insurance companies are not exactly being truthful with their customers, stating such things as if you do not use one of their approved body shops, they will not guarantee the repairs, or it may cost you more out of pocket. Here at Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, the work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MP46050.
You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Damn draft, baby. I'm ready to talk about the draft.
The draft is a week from tomorrow.
You're darn right. My computer is singing.
We have Charlie Campbell slated to join us next Thursday, draft day.
I don't know why, but I've eased into a place of comfort regarding the draft. I feel like we're going to get Quentin Nelson, and it's a no-brainer. It's going to happen. He's coming to Tampa Bay. This is going to be a prosperous draft, sir.
Is it because a lot of mock drafts have him falling that far now? Do you feel comfortable because a lot of the faux experts are saying faux information that he's going to fall?
The faux experts are doing their mock drafts and their faux trades, and they're getting after all that, and it has Quentin Nelson continuing to fall. And I say if even just one iota of that is true, we're going to be all right.
Charlie has been steadfast in claiming Derwin James will be the pick.
I know. I listen. I've really been torn on Derwin James for a while. Loved him here. Loved what he represents. His work ethic is great. He's an athletic freak. It's a position of need for us in Tampa, so it does make sense to take him. I like Mike Smith. I understand he didn't have a very good year in Tampa last season, and that's an understatement. But I really believe a lot of that was personnel related, and I've made that point time and again. Listen, you can't generate a pass rush if you don't have the players to generate a pass rush, and we didn't have a defensive end that could generate a pass rush. So you're going to get beat, and when you have average to mediocre corners, or at least one good but aged corner and one bereft of confidence, and others who are just slappies you're starting because you have to, well, you got a problem. Especially when you can't get to the passer, and quarterbacks in the NFL have time to throw the football. They make good corners look bad, let alone decent. So I think he would know what to do with Derwin James would be my point. I think if Derwin's going to be the star that his athleticism projects him to be or suggests he should be, you're going to have to go to a place like Seattle or go to a place who would use him the way that Seattle has used so many talented but bigger secondary personnel. You have got to use him in the run game. He'll add so much to the ability up around the line of scrimmage to snuff out opposing teams' run games. He's a great tackler in space. He's ungodly as a pass rusher for that position. If you utilize that aspect of what he is and then put him in good situations in coverage where he's not having to be great in space, then I think, yeah, man, he could be a great pick. So I'm not so quick to dismiss that as a destination or bad pick. It's not who I want. I want Quentin Nelson. I think the Bucs need to seriously upgrade the offensive line. It seems all my teams do. But that's it. Because if you get the run game going, Jameis Winston is going to be great. And this league, as we know, is it's a quarterback league. And if you've got a guy who has the potential to be great, let him be great. Whether that's going out and improving personnel at wide receiver, which they have, or protecting him. And last year they didn't protect him. They didn't have a run game, and he got hurt. He got hit a lot, and he got hurt. And so when that happens, all that investment in those receivers, all that investment in that franchise quarterback, it goes away. It's obsolete. So I want that addressed first in protecting him. What I think he'll do in the run game for Tampa Bay is huge. And then from there, I also think because you can look at this draft and say you'll get a decent running back in the second round with your second pick. You're going to find one of those guys, whether it's Geis, who might still be there. If you're lucky, Sony Michel is there. But you're going to get a good running back with that second pick if you want it. Not that we're talking about running backs with Saquon Barkley going to the Bucs, although I've seen that mentioned a couple times. If Nelson or James are both there, I'm not going to be devastated with the pick of Derwin James. Of course I won't be. I would have been a month ago. I don't think I would be. I've come around to it to some degree. But I really think the better pick is Quentin Nelson.
Well, and to footnote on Charlie's mock draft, Nelson is gone in that scenario that he creates. So, if he is available, we shall see who the Bucs favor. But, yeah, with Derwin, I think it's pretty simple. His freshman season, you saw raw potential, a lot of skill that needed to be molded. Then he's hurt, and then he's not front and center. He's not the guy that you scheme around defensively where we use him as a centerpiece. Now, there may have been subtle things that he was influencing, but when you're looking for a Derwin James highlight reel, a lot of stuff you see is actually from his freshman season here in Tallahassee. So it's hard to say, I know definitively what he's going to be.
Right.
Whereas with Nelson, yes, you do. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I think you have a better idea of what he's going to be. Derwin is a bit of an X factor.
He is, but I will say this. If Derwin James in the second half of last season was very good, he was just on a bad team. So we didn't really talk about how well he was playing. So he did get a little bit of it there. But also, I really believe he can do more than Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a traditional player at the position, a really good one. And he translates and is going to be a star in the NFL and a week-to-week starter and all those things. Derwin's upside is greater than that of Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I think his downside is greater than that of Minkah Fitzpatrick too.
Right.
So, yeah, I do. You're right about the X factor part of that, but I do like taking chances on guys who have preternatural ability, and he kind of does.
Correct, but taking a chance at 7. That's the whole thing.
Quentin Nelson's the answer. That's why I keep falling back on it. That's not a chance. That's not a risk. You've got a mauler. You've got a guy. It's funny. I asked Brad Hopkins, former NFL offensive lineman, 13 years in the league. I asked him to assess offensive linemen. I was guest hosting a show on Sirius, and I asked him, I thought, man, what an opportunity. I've been talking to this guy. What are you looking at when you look at linemen going into the draft? What are you trying to see about what they are? And I've said this before, but I'll go back to it. He said, well, first of all, and this is really funny, and it gets to the root of things. He goes, first of all, first and foremost, things you can't teach, for example, size. Is he a big son of a bitch? Is he just a monster of a man? Because if he is, he's going to hold his own. He's going to manhandle people. I'm sorry, if you're 6'5", 6'6", 340 pounds, and you were an elite-level college player, that just always translates. Because at 350 or 340 or 330, nobody's moving you. Not if you have an ounce of technique. Nobody's moving you. And you're not considered a top 10 pick if you haven't shown the ability to play with technique, to have an understanding of the game, and to have been, really, this is the other part of it, durable. Because at that big, guys get hurt a lot. So have you been durable? Have you been consistent? And you're huge? It's a no-brainer. You can pencil them in 10 years. Now, freak accidents happen. It's football. But so he's looking for that. And then the second thing he looks for is, especially on the interior, is he mean? Is he mean? Is he borderline a little out there? I think we've seen the tape.
Yeah.
He's mean. He's trying. I mean this in a positive way. Without being cheap, he's trying to hurt people.
Yeah.
I want players who do that. I want linebackers who hit you with the intent to harm, not cheaply. I don't want you hitting around the head. I don't want you taking out knees when guys aren't looking. But if your aim is to shatter ribs, to send messages, I'm fine with that. And if your aim as an interior lineman is to get your hands on a linebacker much smaller than you and to sling him halfway across Texas because you can, good. I want that. And I think he fits that mold perfectly.
Well, so when he goes 4 to the Browns or something like that, we'll see. I find this interesting, and this is what always happens during the draft, and it happened to us last year because we were factoring in that the Alabama group was going to be gone by the time the Bucs were picking
and then they were there.
17 or 18 or whatever it was. And then pick after pick goes by, and first 5 picks, you see the Trubisky move, and you think, whoa. Well, okay, that probably moves one of that group back down a slot. So there's a better chance we can land one of these guys. Flash forward an hour and a half, and we're doing it. With Dalvin added to the Alabama group, there's 4 picks before us, and there are 5 candidates for that pick. Well, we're in a great spot. I just wonder, I hope, against this, but if we're not at 4 or 5, we're still a half an hour away from picking, or however long it is in reality. And we're thinking, well, all of our candidates they're gone. Do we have time to trade? That's the wonder of the draft, is if Nelson goes off the board and let's say Fitzpatrick gets taken and now there's a bunch of quarterbacks out in play or whatever.
Well,
all right, can we trade? Can we get to 7 the level to go make a trade? That's what makes the draft so fascinating, is the domino effect and the way it changes the nature of conversations among fans who thought it was definitely going to go.
Well, yeah, the oohs and ahs of the draft party are the result of those moves. But I don't think the Bucs are in a position where they won't get somebody they really like. whether that's Saquon Barkley, Quentin Nelson, Derwin James, Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of those guys is going to be there. Now, is he the most desirable of the 4 or 5 guys that you like in the first half of the draft?
Exactly. See, for me, I'd probably rule out Derwin in that moment, and I'd say, all right, there are 3.
You wanted all the other guys
there
first
are 3
that I just
candidates.
said.
Yeah.
You wanted Saquon more than Derwin. You wanted Minkah more than you wanted Derwin.
Mm-hmm. And Nelson.
You and I disagree on Minkah and Derwin, but I wouldn't disagree with you if it's Saquon, and I wouldn't disagree with you if it's Nelson for sure. If it's Minkah or Derwin, I'll take Derwin.
Right,
and
you have 3 picks between you, and there are the 3 candidates. You're like, oh, shoot.
Yeah,
Here you go.
yeah.
Cross them off the list, and where are we? Do we get stuck? You just don't want to get left out. That's the hard part of the draft, and last year was just a confluence of events that saw us at the latter part or the latter half of the first round say, well, we're not going to get left out at all. We're going to have a choice here.
By the way, while we're on the subject of the draft and players, I saw a lot of this today, and I don't know if maybe yesterday I didn't address it enough or we didn't talk about it enough. But, I saw Andrea Adelson on ESPN.com. I want to get this out there because I forgot to do it earlier in the show. The DeAndre Francois incident that we first addressed a week ago or whatever when that first report came out, and I thought we said all we needed to say, maybe needs a follow-up, but only because there was that further story that we now saw that they were combing the house and they were following and casing DeAndre Francois for weeks at a time and going through his trash and doing those things, according to reports, only to come up with virtually nothing. Basically misdemeanor amounts of weed, which quickly got basically thrown out for a diversion program. Really is a bad look for the guy who tipped off TPD, whoever that was, who has a level of hate in his heart that I can't fathom.
Or business interest.
Maybe, right. That's another way to put it. That's smart. You're right. And then B, it's a bad look for TPD, period. I mean, they got nothing on that guy.
Right.
They got nothing. So was I critical in the time of DeAndre Francois? I was, because you really have to be almost an angel at this point with all of your previous missteps. But to be sure, and I am well aware, and I don't need a million people to email about this and say, well, you're overstating it. No, I'm not overstating anything. I told people at the time that we read about the incident, before we ever knew how petty it was, that it really doesn't bother me. I believe marijuana should be legal. I was unequivocal in my stance on that. No, it's stupid. Whatever. Smoke some weed. I don't care. It's not about what the weed was. It's about what it represents in terms of the many missteps, the blemishes that add up to a huge pimple, if you will. I mean,
right.
or the small blemishes that add up to something bigger. Terrible analogy, but I don't. Yeah, I don't care that he got caught with a little bit of weed. I care that there's always been a little something going on with him that suggests he's not locked in and committed to his teammates, that locker room, this team, and the position of being the leader of an offense or a team as a whole, which a quarterback has to be.
Yeah, no, I think that one's pretty simple. It's a bad look for TPD, and it's a bad look for DeAndre in the sense that somebody in your crew is an informant for the cops. Well, what candidate would there be in a group? Or what kind of group would it be?
Yeah,
someone within it could be a tipster for the cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
All I'm saying
I agree,
is,
but I don't.
Right now is the point in his life where he has to really
he has
thin
to evaluate
the
some
circle
things. Yeah,
around
he's got
him.
to evaluate who he's hanging out with, and not because of the.
And it's right. It's not about the result. It's about the process.
Right,
here.
right.
This is about process stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I was never an informant for a cop, and
No, I never was.
I never knew
informant for a
anybody who
cop.
was an informant for a cop.
I don't think I did. If you're a good one, you probably aren't found out.
Well,
but
I
sure.
lived around some shady customers, and
Sure.
you could see how there might be entanglements with the law, either for that reason or because they're coming to get you.
Entanglements with the law is a wonderful phrase.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
We all knew those
there
guys.
might be entanglements with the law, sure.
Yeah, that guy. It wouldn't surprise me if I saw him in the booking report.
In my youth, I hung around a lot of people who had entanglements with the law, and I frequented parties and places where those kinds of entanglements happened on the regular, yes.
And if I know, for example, that there is something that's very important after I graduate college, because for us it's that. It's not what we're doing in college. It's about you graduate and then you go get your job. And I have to be on the straight and narrow. I mean, there
something's
cannot
happened
be anything.
that there can't be any more transgression.
Anything. Well, the guys who might be entangled,
I'll see you around,
I might
fellas.
say no if you text me and say, come on over, we're playing some NCAA football. No, this could go any number of ways, and I can't be attached to this right now. That's the frustration with DeAndre, and that's where I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that's also a level of maturity that is easy to see and have as you get older and wonder why you didn't when you were younger. It happens to me all the time. I've made a gazillion mistakes. Anybody listening to this show who's known me for a long time, I don't shy away from those things. Now, I wasn't a hardened criminal or anything like that. I don't want to imply as much. But I've just made poor decisions before, so I'm not going to pretend that I haven't. But some of them I can look at and say, that's unfortunate. I see why I did that, and I wouldn't do that now, or I learned from it, or whatever. And others, I go, oh my God, that's mind-numbingly dumb.
Yeah.
What were you doing? But that's the perspective of a 40-something-year-old man with kids, or a 31-year-old man who's got a career and a life going in the right direction and all that. And perspective, it's harder when you're 21, 22. I know that. I always want to be mindful of that. But, yeah, he's at that place.
Well, just be a fly on the wall in Willie's office. I mean, and you can hypothetically talk about that conversation they have. I don't think it would be too dissimilar from this. DeAndre, I understand. The circumstances around this do seem kind of ridiculous. And I agree with you. That is borderline harassment given what they've found. Having said that, can you stop?
Can you stop doing dumb stuff?
I can't have anything.
Well, it's Jameis Winston in this sense. So we thought numerous times over that the stories written about the kinds of conversations centering around Jameis Winston were completely unfair and that he was not charged with a crime. And when he finally was cited for something, it was crab legs, and it was preposterous in that was a hookup. However, yelling dumb stuff at the student union.
Right, be it a meme or not.
These are things that you're going to invite further complications into your life and criticisms that may or may not be fair, but absolutely valid at some point if you keep making these little mistakes to add to the larger fuel for the fire. That's DeAndre right now.
Don't give me a reason, DeAndre. Give me a reason to give you a fair chance.
And I just want to say this. I think the ship to me has sailed.
It's with a P.
Yeah, the ship to me has sailed. I don't think he'll ever start here again. Now, I said that a long time ago for a different reason. Some of it involved these current reasons, but more of it had involved the injury and what I thought James Blackman could do. He hasn't done all of that yet.
The undying hype coming from the head coach regarding a true freshman quarterback. Yes.
That's right. So we'll see. There have been some things that have been added to the conversation. It's a more layered conversation than it once was, but I don't know that he ever gets it back because there's no evidence to say that he's moving in the right direction. I mean, the head coach, once again, when I was younger, when I was a kid in high school, I remember guys would get mad if rumors were circulating about him, if somebody started an unfortunate rumor. And I remember there were teammates I played with in football and basketball and stuff, largely African-American guys that would use a phrase, say, keep my name out your mouth. They would say that about people who they were frustrated with, who seemed like every time they went to a party had something to say about this person. Keep my name and my people out your mouth. That's what they would say. Well, it's like with Derwin, man. I mean, excuse me, not Derwin at all. DeAndre. That guy comes up for the wrong reasons at all times, centering around selfish behavior and dumb. I'll just stick with selfish. Just selfish behavior that tells
unnecessary.
Me. Right.
Yeah.
It just says to me he gives people way too many reasons to talk about him, second-guess him, and question whether or not he can be a leader of men, which you have to be a quarterback. And so, I don't know, man. It's
not lost on us that the TPD thing was not a good look for the TPD at all.
No, right.
That's what 2 weeks, huh? Well, then the inconsistencies, too. Just 1 second for consumption purposes.
Sure.
People reading and consuming things. I put it on Twitter this morning, but there was an ESPN report.
The throwaway line. I
It's
saw
an ESPN byline, so nobody put their name to it, and it says he's expected to be the starter. Well, that's not true. He could be, but that he's expected.
He's not expected.
First of all, who expects that? Mm-hmm. And second of all, is that so? And I think the answer to both is no. There are some fans that may expect it, but you talk to Willie, I don't know that he fully expects it.
It would be debatable, sure.
And then the second thing is, the Twitter moments thing. You can get your news on Twitter. Well, it said Tampa Police. So be careful what you consume when you use these other non-traditional news sources. It said Tampa Police was conducting the 2-week investigation, not Tallahassee Police.
That's right.
So just for consumption purposes, you got to be careful of what you're reading here, man.
As if you didn't know, but there's further confirmation, yeah?
Well, I've liked Twitter moments. I was disappointed because usually it gets it right and then it cites it through the tweets themselves. So then you can go and then that's where your rabbit hole.
This got it really wrong in a lot of ways.
But it had on its title page, it said Tampa Police. I was like, well, that's not true at all.
I did like the throwaway line at the end. That's like written by a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
That's like an intern somewhere in Bristol.
Right.
Yeah, it's nuts. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
And more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
Tired of your normal two-piece kit? Makita and Cornerstone are back together with a better-than-ever offer. Purchase a Makita brushless premium hammer drill and impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool, plus a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a total of 3 batteries, a $150 value. Not to mention, buy any 3 Makita brushless tools and get a free starter kit, 1 tool bag, 2 5-amp-hour batteries, and 1 dual bay charger. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave or 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. Eat, sleep, fish. Mike's Marine Supply and Skeeter Boats want to get you out on the open water. They're your local Skeeter dealer, custom rigged with the Yamaha outboards. Stocked with a full line of Skeeter boats from the Bass to the Saltwater Bay Series, Skeeter has been recognized for 18 consecutive years as the leader in customer satisfaction for fiberglass outboard boats. Check in at Mike's Marine Supply for the spring specials starting soon. Located at 1296 Coastal Highway, Panacea, Florida, call Mike's Marine at 984-5637. Online at mikesmarinetallahassee.com. Come watch professional tennis in your own backyard. The 19th Annual Tallahassee Tennis Challenger, April 21st through the 28th at Forest Meadows Tennis Center. Rising stars and tour veterans battle for ATP points and a wild card draw into the French Open. Fun for the whole family. Kids 10 and under, admitted free. For more information, go to TallahasseeChallenger.com.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Good tonight, huh?
3 in a row.
Got the Lightning tonight. My guess is you won't be watching the Nats and the Mets. It's
No.
Steven Matz. Hey.
Wheeler and Matz back to back, huh? That's how you get me to tune on the
But
television.
I don't think Wheeler pitched poorly last night, right?
No, he didn't. I just can't watch him. I can't do it.
He
because,
bothers you.
Well, it's fool's gold.
He bothers you.
Well,
there are
okay,
guys
so-
in any sport we've all had over the years that just, they bother you.
Well, I watched the first inning. I did. I said, all right, this is a good start last time. Real good start down in Miami. Maybe it's not smoke and mirrors. First inning, a hit, 2 walks, nothing across. But that's what he does. He threw 19 pitches, 9 were strikes. And we got out of the inning. Yeah, it's fool's gold with him.
Well, I know that feeling. There are guys on my college teams, my pro teams, baseball, football, basketball, doesn't matter, that just rub you the wrong way, frustrate you about the way they play the game, and even when they get results, you go, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Because ultimately you can't trust them. And there are guys who actually, to certain degrees, play well long enough that you should let it go, but you can't. And I know, I don't want to name that guy. There was a guy that pitched for Florida State that got results, but I just felt like when we get into the postseason, this is not going to fly.
Right. Now, it could be an old pitcher who gets the exact same result as somebody who's heralded, and I'm looking at that guy saying, well, what a 5 that guy is. I mean, geez, he gets the most mileage out of everything he's got. With Wheeler, there's hype with every start. He throws mid to upper 90s. So it's just, there's all this extra hype where there is none deserved at this point. So that's why I can't do it. Because every time, it doesn't matter. It's like people forget, whoa, look at this guy. No.
Not going to do it.
No,
Not
sir.
gonna look at
No,
it.
sir.
Let's do some probables, shall we? Here we go. Fire it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Cleveland and Minnesota. Carlos Carrasco, Jose Berrios. This would be, if we could replicate the weather in Tallahassee today for that Florida State baseball game that's going on and somehow supply it to the rest of the country for Major League Baseball, they'd have sellouts across this great land, I tell you. A lot of day baseball in places that nobody wants to be.
Yeah, you put the attendance for all those games together and it wouldn't touch a sellout.
We got Washington and New York. Just mentioned it. Tanner Roark is going to go for the Nats. Steven Matz for the Mets. Philadelphia Phillies, Atlanta Braves. Oh, well, we'll get to that after we get done with the Front Row Knowles.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yes, we'll join the pregame show in progress at the conclusion of
a
Front Row Knowles.
lengthy pregame show at that. Man, those Braves announcers have got heart, stamina.
So I've listened to it a few times, despite the fact I'm not a Braves fan, and you probably need to do that as a program director.
Sure.
They just have long-form discussions about the game. So they talk about the hierarchy of the farm system, but then they'll go talk about the game. So it's actually not bad. They don't try to do an hour and a half on the game that's about to come.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Yeah. Just free-flowing conversation about the game, which is actually, I'm sure, not something that resonates with millennials, but would for people like you and myself.
Or diehard Braves fans, because the guy who drives the pregame shows, I don't care what he hits in AAA. They're not throwing to him anyway. He'd get better pitches up here in the bigs. Don't you agree? And really passionate about a top prospect.
Yeah.
Dude.
Phillies, Braves, Vince Velasquez, and Brandon McCarthy. We got Giants D-backs, Chris Stratton. Robbie Ray, of course, is indeed starting for your Arizona Diamondbacks. His last start came against the Giants.
He's good.
Yeah, he is.
He's a top 50 player in the ESPN top 300 rankings.
Yeah, he's a really good player. Like, we always think of it as a joke because I'm always saying he's pitching again tonight.
Right.
But no, he's like really good. And he wore one off the head a year ago, and he's overcome that. I mean, just a gruesome shot. Yeah, it's hard to listen to. Red Sox, Angels, Rick Porcello, Tyler Skaggs. We got Astros and Mariners. Garrett Cole, who, pitched for the Pirates and was a fake ace, has been the best pitchers the Astros have so far, which is ridiculous since they have better pitchers than almost everybody else. Anyhow, he struck out a career-high 14 batters on Friday, did Garrett Cole. 14. Out there dominating like an ace. Joined Nolan Ryan as the only pitcher in Major League Baseball history to start a season with 3 starts of 11 plus strikeouts.
He keeps going. You just call him an ace hole.
3 consecutive starts, debuts for the Houston Astros for Garrett Cole, in which he has struck out 11 or more. I don't even know what to say to that.
Hashtag ace hole.
It's unbelievable. 36 strikeouts are a record for the first 3 games with the team. A record, a Major League Baseball record. Of course they are. Go to hell, Garrett Cole. Mike Leake goes for the Mariners. We've got the Dodgers and Padres. Kenta Maeda and Luis Perdomo. And if you recall, the last time you saw Perdomo, he was running for his life, frightened like a small child.
The glove didn't stop him.
As Arenado charged the mound, Perdomo went, no, and scrambled to get behind real men. That was, just don't do that, sir.
Ran faster than Carmelo after he threw that haymaker that whiffed.
The fastest I've ever seen anybody run was the relief pitcher who's with you, I think, currently, or had been with you when former Mets catcher Mike Piazza charged the hill.
Oh, really?
Who was your closer?
Mota pitched for us.
Yeah. Mota ran faster than I've ever seen.
Mota.
Never seen anybody run that fast in my life. A man that big, that strong.
He's a big guy, yeah.
Throwing that hard, hit Mike Piazza in a spring training game. And Piazza charged the mound, and he ran for the dugout.
Yeah. He also, he ran into their clubhouse, too, saying, where's Mota? Where's Mota?
Oh, yeah. No, and nobody wanted any piece of that.
That's just normal rage, man. He's just angry.
Well, either whatever the degree of the rage or how it originated, that it doesn't matter. I just know that if you're Mota and you throw at a man's head at 98 and you're as big as he is, I mean, a towering man is Mota. And you run you can't do that if you're going to run like that. You cannot run like a small child being chased by a burglar of some sort. I mean, what in the world?
There are plenty of smaller people who have to run, who don't want to, and they just hope that they could be in your body one day.
They would love to have been your size at some
right.
point, but no.
And say, let's do this.
Good luck to the Florida State golf team, who today, right now, flying out for the ACC championships. My friend Trey Jones leading the way. Let's hope that they're all right. I did find this out for those that care about such things. Harry Ellis is bouncing back nicely from a struggle there at the Masters. In fact, shot a 62 the other day.
Whoa.
Mentally tough. That's a good thing. Yeah. Gotta be, right? Gotta be.
What a lesson he's learned for free, you know?
Yeah, and it one he'll take with him forever, and I'm sure he wished he could have changed all of that. But they've also got a freshman All-American in John Pack, and so this is a good team. It's a fun team to watch. I know that college golf isn't everybody's thing. I'm just wishing him luck.
You know, I don't want to give away anything behind the scenes, but Trey is pretty honest when he's evaluating chances. Does he like their chances as he hops on the flight?
Well, I think he thinks it's Clemson's to lose because they play that course so well, and it's a course that really requires to be great around the greens with deft touch, chips, putts, those sorts of things. It's not a bomber's course. Florida State's team this year can hit it out there. They have an advantage with a driver or a 3-wood in their hands.
Yeah.
So the course doesn't play to their strengths necessarily. But he said, look, I got 3 guys playing really well right now, which if you've got that, you're in a good place.
Hey, if you need a celebrity putt, just call me. I'm putting well these days.
Yeah, you are putting well these days. I generally putt well, so either one of us could do the trick.
That's right.
We'll both raise our hand right there. Also, a little rest in peace real quick to the great Bruno Sammartino. Bit the dust today. 82 years old. You remember old Bruno?
No, I don't.
You don't?
I know the name.
Well, you don't. When you started watching wrestling for WWF, he wasn't part of it?
No.
Oh, so it's my age that I'm revealing
No,
here.
but he was there and around enough, or that he would be hearkened back to.
Well, he was in the Hall of Fame, and he was always around. And in my formative wrestling years, if you will, he was omnipresent. He was the guy. He was always announcer. He was there next to Vince on the couch talking before Lord Byron took over and all that other stuff. And so, yeah, that's my era.
No more kickouts.
That's it.
1, 2, 3.
That's it. He's not kicking out of this one. We've got a new champion.
That's right.
It's called life.
Well, that's the only thing that's won more championships than Ric Flair.
There it is. I think I'll be doing a rest in peace to Ric Flair here real soon, too.
Yeah?
I mean, I just watched the Andre documentary on HBO.
Yeah.
Ric's in that, and Matthew will attest to this, he doesn't have much. He doesn't have much time, man.
His expression wasn't on camera, but I wish it were.
I'm telling you. My wife, who doesn't know nothing about nothing when it comes to wrestling, right, other than she thinks it's ridiculous me and the kids watch it, she walked by while that thing was on, and they were interviewing Flair, and she goes, my God, he's not going to be with us much longer. I said, no, I don't think so. He's cheated death 3 times. He's kicked out.
Yes, he does kick out.
He is somehow kicked out.
I mean, it's Undertaker-esque with the kickouts.
It's crazy. I mean, they've declared him dead, and he somehow kicks out. It's like when you got a sleeper hold on somebody, and they keep the arm up that last time.
Do you think that in the ER, the doctor says, all right, we're going to have to call this one in 1, 2.
Oh, hang on! Hold on! He's still with us! There's announcers. They're just nurses.
JR's right there.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
Can you believe it? This is such a barn burner.
I would love it. And somehow he could work in the rattlesnake. It'd be even better. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks to all who called and or listen. Front Row Knowles is up next. Stay to it. Those guys are great. And the great Tim Linnefelt will join them, I'm pretty sure. And I always get to hear that on my way home. And I like it. And no, I'm not being snarky. I do. It's good stuff. It's next.